this is pod racing.
Now this is pod racing.
Let me get some water here.
What are you doing, step bro?
right. Let's raise this desk up. There's no sitting down on this street. Sitting down this loud. Sitting down all day. I have to stand on the street. Just not enough room on this desk, dude. I don't have enough desk real estate. I have so much tech on my desk, and it's constantly adding. Like, it's multiplying. The tech that needs to be on the desk is just multiplying. I need more desk area. All right, let's fire it up. All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another emotional support session that we charitably refer to as hacking Twitch streams. I've been subbed for 22 months. Where am I going to see some of that? See what? What are you seeing? See some of what? How do you feel today? I feel just fine, OreoBite. I feel good. I feel today's good. Today was a good day. It's a good day. Listen, it's hard to have a bad day when John Hammond is shouting you out in his videos, okay? It's hard to have a bad day when that's going down. If you haven't seen, John Hammond released a video today showcasing one of the tips that I post on my that I'm posting daily on my. Let me turn the freaking music down. Music, you're coming in too hot and heavy. Okay, turn it down. There we go. Yeah, so I posted a tip that got a little bit of traction. I think last week or the week before, and John Hammond did a video. The tip was the one where you can execute PowerShell from the command line without using IEX or IWR. You can use IEX without using invoke expression or IWR. Only downside is he avoided using IEX to only use IEX. Yeah, he did that in order to keep it simple. Usually when I'm using that tip in the field, I use some .NET reflection you can do a lot more with .NET reflection and direct API calls without using IEX. But yeah, in the video he does use IEX, and that in order to basically, the problem is that that there's a little bit of jank associated with the tip. The tip is that you can use NS lookup to pull down a text record. The text record contains a payload, a PowerShell payload that will execute. But the issue is that text records are limited to 255 characters. So you only have 255 characters for your payload. So in the video, John Hammond does what I do, which is to direct which is basically to use a stager for a PowerShell script located somewhere else. Add your tip for future searches when I do forensics. Yeah, that's what it's for too, my man. I'm trying to help the blue teamers get better too, okay? Everything you post and teach is just priceless. I wouldn't say it's priceless, but I'm glad that you're getting stuff out of it. I love Shell. I'm glad you're getting stuff out of it. Today is the day of our Lord, Newbie Tuesday, okay? Newbie Tuesday today. We're going to be taking on the Wreath network again. Hacking the Wreath network. A collab with John would be fire, not going to lie. He wanted to interview me for a video like a couple months ago, but we both got busy, so it ended up not happening. But if you remind him on Twitter, if you let him know, I'm sure he will acquiesce. I already saw people post it as their own on LinkedIn. Dude, that's all LinkedIn is, dude. Steal someone else's content and repost it. That's all of LinkedIn that you just described. All of LinkedIn. LinkedIn exists for that purpose, to steal other people's content and repost it in order to look good to employers. And I respect it. I respect it. Okay, that's what I'm here for. All of social media. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that basically is what it is. All of Reddit is that way too. Like all of Reddit is just reposts. You could easily argue that all of social media is like that. DeCroyson with the 3 months. Welcome back, my friend. Oh, that remind me. I need to make you a mod. Remind me tonight. I need to make you a mod. I still haven't done that yet. Kind of just took a day yesterday away from screens, so I'm trying to get caught up today. Trying to get caught up. Demianaki, Profex, KW Simmerjap, and Woodville Dave, thank you for the follows. Jifran with the 69 take old biddies. We are pod racing now. That is true. It is now. We are currently pod racing. I believe is how the quote goes. We currently are pod racing. I gotta start reposting on LinkedIn so I can finally get hired as a junior pen tester. Yeah, I mean, that's not what's going to get you hired as a junior pen tester. You need the certifications. The biggest barrier you face as a junior pen tester is getting past HR. HR is looking for certain box checks in order to like say, hey, we'll call this guy in for an interview, or something like that. And so you need to learn to check the boxes. The box checks they're typically looking for are certifications. Lots of certifications. So you need to at least have a few of the certifications they're looking for, usually. Once you get your foot in the door and get some of that professional experience, then you'll find that the certifications aren't nearly as important. HR is looking for the whole security team in one person. Oh, I never said it was fair. I just said that that's what the case. I just said that's what the case is. Today, we're going to be continuing the Wreath network, and I believe at where we are in the Wreath network is we've been hacking this one for a couple of streams now. Not in sequence. Not in sequence. I keep coming back to it. I keep coming back to it later. So hopefully we can remember. It's the one with the face. If you're not sure which challenge this is the one with the face, with the guy's face and the Oxford comma, okay? I'm sure if you were there, you remember the face, you remember the lack of Oxford comma. It still triggers you. I know. We're all there. We're all in the same place regarding his use of the Oxford comma, okay? Or should I say non-use of the Oxford comma. Cobalt Strike, we're not going to be using Cobalt Strike today. I believe they have you use Empire in the thing, but we may not use Empire. I was thinking about trying Sliver. I've never actually used Sliver. And I keep meaning to, like, give it a shot. And I just have not yet. So if you guys want to see Sliver, we can experiment with Sliver as well. Because I have shown Empire on stream. We've even modified Empire's source code on stream to bypass AV. One time on stream, I modified their NIM stager in order to bypass Windows Defender. So that was something I did live, which was pretty cool. We have seen quite a bit of Empire. We've also seen Cobalt Strike. I used Cobalt Strike on. It was Hollow. Yeah, that was the Hollow network, I recall. It was Hollow where it was another TryHackMe network where you faced antivirus, and but the only antivirus was Windows Defender, which, although Windows Defender is pretty competent as far as signature-based AV goes, but it's still bound by the limitations of signature-based AV. So we were able to bypass it. Let me see what Wreath is going to have us do today. If I remember right, we had just compromised a Windows machine, if I recall. I ran Mimikatz. Oh yeah, this is where there were no credentials and logon passwords, and you had to dump the SAM file. I recall this. Okay, yeah. Are you allowed to stream Hack the Box networks? No. As far as I know, I did check the fine print on their terms of service, and you're not allowed to stream any of their networks currently. If they changed it so that you could stream the networks, I would be happy to stream those. I'm trying to, I have to be friends with Hack the Box, so I'm trying not to violate their terms of service here. We're gonna start the stream playing around with Sliver. I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know what we're gonna do. Like, we could do Empire, we could do Sliver. Hell, I'll even use Covenant if you want me to. I detest it. We could try Merlin. We could try Posh C2. We could try... What do you guys want to try? It has to be open source. It has to be something I can download. There are no retired pro labs. Yeah, exactly. Again, I'm not trying to violate any of Hack the Box's rules here. Only the retired boxes. Only the retired challenges. I'm happy to do any of the retired content. I am not going to do any active content. I did read the fine print before I even started streaming, so I don't believe I've ever violated the rules. Okay, let's take a look. See. Let's take a look at what TryHackMe has for us today. So, in the previous episode of Oxford, hacking, we ran Mimikatz, if I recall. Yeah, we got remote desktop access to this Git. We got RCE on this GitLab installation, I think. And then we got our remote desktop access, and there was no antivirus present on this host. So we simply uploaded Mimikatz and ran it, and they had to... This is where we got stuck last time. For some reason, I had to token elevate, which I normally find isn't the case after I've privilege debugged. But then again, I haven't just run Mimikatz like this in quite a while. It's pretty rare. You don't just in the real world, you don't just upload mimikatz.exe to targets. This is not something that we do. Okay, this is not something that I do. So there was a little fumbling around in just the standard Mimikatz executable. I had to run token elevate to my administrator session to a... I thought privilege debug would cover it, but apparently you had to elevate the system as well. And then we had to dump the SAM file. Another thing that's annoying about Mimikatz is that the errors are really bad. The errors are all like these incalculable like sequences of numbers, and it's impossible to know what Mimikatz is actually complaining about. Was there ever a time when you did upload Mimikatz in the past? No. I don't think I've ever done it. I don't think I've literally ever done it in like a real pen test in real life. I don't think I've ever just uploaded mimikatz.exe to a target and executed it. It's just not something you do. Like even in my early days, I was using invoke mimikatz.ps1. I mean, like it's just easier to use invoke mimikatz.ps1. To the same end, like uploading, it's just so weird to just upload Mimikatz. I mean, but it was fine in a CTF, but you wouldn't do it in real life. And then we cracked a hash. Let me take a look at my notes here. Let me take a look to remind myself. Did I get... I hope I copied those hashes. I'm sure I did. Past me is so good about taking notes. We know this. I am the best at taking notes. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. So this is the contents of the SAM file. You can see that I'm in here just because I added myself as a user in order to do this. John Hammond brought your comment on his video this morning. Yeah, I know. I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier that John Hammond made a video about one of my tips, which involved using PowerShell to download and execute a stager from a DNS text record, which allowed you to not use invoke expression and not use IWR. No, it's all good. It's all good. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. It's pretty cool. He gets an Empire stager using my little tip. Yeah, so it looks like this Thomas credential is probably going to be the important one. Did we crack it? I think we went to crack. I heart Ruby. That's the one. I apparently didn't copy that in there. I think that's Thomas's. Yeah, Thomas's password is I heart Ruby. So let's just put that in there. And my question for Thomas is why? I mean, I don't hate Ruby. Ruby is, I guess, fine. But I guess he's a web developer. He's a web developer. So web developers, I find Ruby on Rails is very popular among web developers. Run everything all at once in a real environment. For Mimikatz errors, you translated here. Okay, so okay. Oh, interesting. So it's just giving you the error code? Okay. I mean, it was giving us some incredibly non-verbose error, so I wasn't sure what it wanted. You ever gotten the SOX proxy modules and PowerShell Empire to work for pivoting? Unless I'm not understanding these modules very well. I have not used Empire for port forwarding. I don't think ever. I don't think I've ever used Empire for port forwarding. I do know that even Metasploit's port forwarding is actual dog shit. Like it's very bad. It's very, very bad. Like we were stuck on Hollow for far too long, just because on that NTLM relay, just because Meterpreter, because I didn't want to do it the way. Like, the last step on the Hollow network is to do an NTLM relay to the domain controller, which is, first of all, absurd. You almost never relay to a domain controller in real life. Does anybody know why that's the case? Why wouldn't you relay to a domain controller? Well, let me rephrase. Why are you not usually able to relay to a domain controller in real life? Anybody know? Yeah, signing. SMB signing. SMB signing, in theory, defeats NTLM relaying. And on domain controllers, SMB signing is enabled by default. So the organization would have to disable SMB signing on the domain controller. Would have to go out of their way to weaken the security on their own domain controller, which I've just never seen. I've never seen. Normally, when in real life, I don't see SMB signing too often. I do see it on some networks. Usually not ubiquitously, but I do see it implemented across on a recent network. I did see it implemented on most hosts, but not all. It slows things down. SMB signing slows things down quite a bit. It's quite a bit slower to do SMB signing, so a lot of networks just don't want to deal with it. But it is usually present on domain controllers. So relaying to a domain controller already is weird. But they also, the problem is that when you do this SMB relay, you have to do it from a Windows host. You have to pivot through a Windows host to do it, which is a problem. Does anybody know why that's a problem? NTLM relay from a Windows host. Does anybody know why that's an issue? Probably a stupid question, but say you got a shell in a Docker container. Is it possible to modify IP tables inside of the container in order to pivot to other networks? I mean, if there is a firewall in the container, if IP tables is present, and you have root inside of the container, then obviously you can take down that firewall. But the firewall has to be the only firewall you're going to be able to access is in the container itself. So if there's another firewall implemented, like on the host, for instance, if there's more IP tables on the host, then you're not going to be able to access that. Windows already has the required ports in use? Yeah. So in order to NTLM relay, you have to listen on port 445. You need to listen on port 445 in order to capture the SMB request that's being sent, and then relay it somewhere else, right? And that's a problem. You can't listen on port 445. You just can't. It's not possible. So what we had to do, it's not possible because Windows already has the SMB service running, and Windows really wants SMB to be running. You can disable it, but Windows really doesn't want you to. Like, really will resist you shutting it down. And in order to shut it down, you would need to reboot the box. And already my head is just spinning with all of these things I'd never do in real life. Relaying to a domain controller, restarting a box, disabling SMB, relaying, restarting a box to make the disabling of SMB take. Like, all of this was just a giant headache. Like, you wouldn't do this in real life. This is so sloppy. I would never do it. So instead, there's an excellent blog post by Rastamouse. Let me see if I can find that really quickly. Rastamouse did an excellent blog post on this. NTLM relay Rasta. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. NTLM relaying via Cobalt Strike. So we didn't use Cobalt Strike for this, but we used its principles. We used all the principles here. So, I posted the link in chat. So if you wanna read, essentially, we needed to install a kernel driver that would allow us to intercept a request coming into port 445 before it reaches the SMB service, and then we redirect that request to some other port that we're actually listening on, and then we forward that back to our attack box where NTLM Relay X is listening. That's essentially what we did. And if it sounds complicated, that's because it is. This is what we did, and it would have worked immediately. But Metasploit's, we were using Metasploit instead of Cobalt Strike for this, and Metasploit's port forwarding was so bad. It kept failing for no reason. Like, it just wouldn't forward the port. It just wouldn't. Like, it said it was forwarding, but it just wouldn't forward the port properly. So we had a ton of connectivity issues. I think we got it to work one time so we could root the box, and then that was it. Yeah, that was a mess. I tried to do things realistically, and Hollow wanted you to do this in a ridiculous way that I never would in real life. So I hope that was... It was the Rasta Mouse's way was much better, but Cobalt Strike's port forwarding is actually good. Doing it with Cobalt Strike is probably way easier. What's the best way to do port forwarding? I've never had a problem with Chisel. I've never had a problem with SSH, and I've never had a problem with Cobalt Strike. It probably would have been way easier if I'd have uploaded... I don't remember if I tried uploading Chisel to the target or not. I probably could have just uploaded Chisel to the Windows target and run it from there. But for some reason, I think I was really dedicated to using port forwarding on Metasploit for some reason. I don't remember why. If you use port forward with Metasploit, I had to do a reverse port forward, which is weird because Chisel was just a port forward in Hollow without Metasploit. Port forwarding gets confusing really quickly between port forwarding, reverse port forwards. Yeah, it gets confusing really fast. That's why I recommend you come into these networks and you practice working with them. And Wreath is really good for this because it shows you a whole lot of ways to do it. It takes you through proxy chains, SSH tunneling, P-Link, SOCAT, Chisel, do we call this S shuttle? Is this SSH shuttle? I've heard people say it SSH shuttle, S shuttle, shuttle. Like, I cannot, I don't know how people say this. Is it S shuttle? S shuttle, I guess, makes the most sense. I don't like S shuttle. I used it in my OSCP days because it was easy to use. S shuttle is very easy to use. The problem with S shuttle is it's not verbose by default. So if you have connectivity issues, S shuttle will not tell you. And instead, your connections will just mysteriously fail. I started using proxy chains up here because proxy chains is extremely verbose. Proxy chains will tell you exactly it'll tell you about every single connection. Which is super, super helpful if you're troubleshooting issues. I use proxy chains in real life on real networks. It is my port forwarder of choice. This and Proxyfire. I use Proxyfire as well. Proxyfire is great if you're operating from like a desktop environment of some kind, which I do. Is Wreath good for Windows beginners? Yes. Yeah, I would say Wreath is really good for beginners regardless. I think it's very verbose and good at walking you through proxy. It's Proxyfire. Proxyfire. Not fire as in, fire, flames. Proxyfire. No, it's Proxyfire, I think. Proxyfire. This is super good. This is super good. I use this all the time. I use this thing all the time here. I do recommend this. It is paid. Yeah, so I'd recommend you get your company to buy you a license. But it has a 30-day free trial, and it's easy to just uninstall it and reinstall it for a second free trial as well. But this is I've never had a problem with this. It's very useful. But this is only for making your system use a proxy. For actually setting up a proxy, I recommend SSH, I recommend Chisel, and I recommend Cobalt Strike. Okay? SSH, Chisel, and Cobalt Strike are the options that I would give for actually setting up a proxy on a target host. I've used Proxyfire, for example, to fire Rubius. I'll give you an example of Proxyfire's use on a real network. So I want to use Rubius, right? I have a compromised host, and I want to do Kerberos exploitation, right? And what am I going to use for Kerberos exploitation? Rubius. Rubius is your go-to for Kerberos exploitation. Okay? And now, there are a couple of options available. You can also use Impacket. Okay, Impacket does exist, but again, you're going to run into the same issue. I'm giving you a real use case. that I use this for. Let's say you don't want to use Impacket for some reason. You want to use Rubius. Okay, you specifically want to use Rubius. And you're operating from a Windows host. Okay, let's say you're operating from a Windows host and you want to use Rubius. Okay. I completely lost my train of thought for some reason. Oh, okay. Operating from Windows host, you want to use Rubius. You have a couple of options. You can just upload the Rubius to the target and run it. Obviously icky. Real icky. Keep in mind, this is a red team. This is a red team operation. This is a live red team operation. So there is EDR on the target. There is antivirus on the target. There is snort listening. There is any number of other defensive solutions listening that I don't even know about. Like, that could be listening. So you uploading a known malicious executable to the target, even if it's obfuscated, is icky. You don't want to do that. Okay, so that's out. The second thing you can do is use Cobalt Strike's execute assembly feature. This will essentially, Cobalt Strike will fork and run to create a process, load the CLR into that process. CLR is the common language runtime, and then will execute Rubius in memory without needing to upload and execute it. Okay, just put very simply, that's what execute assembly does. This is also, although it does work, this is not ideal because people are onto this technique. Blue is onto this technique. A couple years ago, we just would have done that. It would have been fine. But now, Blue is onto that technique. So, if you do fork and run and load the CLR, that produces signatures that people know. Kekio is also great. Kekio is also really good for this. But it wasn't what I used in this instance. So execute assembly is also out. There's also what we call a beacon object file. A beacon object file is essentially a way of customizing Cobalt Strike's beacon itself. Like, you can give the beacon additional functions. They are written in C, and because they're written in C, they're fairly annoying to write. I've had a lot of beacons crash while testing beacon object files. Because it's really easy to just mess up your C. But it is possible to write a beacon object file that will load the CLR and into the beacon process itself. So you're not doing fork and run. The beacon itself is loading the CLR and then executing Rubius in memory. This is possible, and it's also stuff that I've done on real assessments before in the past, right? This is the sneakiest method, other than the one I actually went with, which is avoid running anything on the target at all. Like, you don't have to run anything on the target at all. You can use a proxy. Use Cobalt Strike's socks feature to set up a proxy. Cobalt Strike will set up a proxy for you. It handles it all in the background. It's super easy to use. And then use Proxy Fire to direct your traffic through the proxy. I was able to run Rubius from my Commando VM through Proxy Fire, through the Cobalt Strike beacon, and proxy the traffic directly to the domain controller that way. This is the execution method that I went with. I use proxying all the time for real ops because it precludes me from having to execute the less code that you have to execute on the target, the better. Like, so literally that beacon is essentially just a socks proxy, unless I absolutely need it to do something else. Does that make sense? I believe you can also replace the WinCap driver with the updated one in the Cobalt Strike jar file, then use Stealth Tunnel again and avoid socks. Ooh, that's good. I'm going to write that down. Hang on a second. I've never done that. That's a good one. I've never done that, but I'm going to write that down. See, I love it when IPSEC is in chat because he gives me all these interesting things. How very interesting. I'm definitely going to look into that. I can even avoid the socks proxy thing. Is the WinCap driver is out? WinPCap driver is outdated. That's fantastic. I even have WinPCap because I have Wireshark installed, so that should be easy enough to. Actually use. That sounds super good. Okay, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that. That makes it even better. But I highly recommend I highly recommend looking into something like Proxy Fire. Proxy Chains also works just fine for this, but Proxy Fire just makes it really easy. All right, enough of that. Enough of that. Today, command and control. We've got, this is where we left off. You can see the little green check mark, and this is where we are. So now, why doesn't Cobalt Strike get picked up by EDR? It does. It does get picked up by EDR. I mean, the default Cobalt Strike behavior definitely gets picked up by EDR a lot. Like a Cobalt Strike doesn't have some kind of magic secret sauce that it uses to use it to avoid EDR. What makes Cobalt Strike so powerful is that it's modular and it's incredibly easy to modify. Cobalt Strike is basically made to be modified. Everything that it does, everything the beacon does, can be modified, can be altered. How the beacon communicates with the team server can be modified. How the beacon itself operates in memory can be modified. Its process injection techniques can be modified. Like literally everything it does can be modified. It's scriptable. It is extensible. It is customizable. It's so easy to change it. And if you change it, if you modify it, then it becomes significantly harder to pick it up if you change it to things that EDR isn't looking for. It'll pick up on, I believe it uses create remote thread process injection by default. If you change it to something else, if you change it to maybe using direct syscalls, if you change it to making direct syscalls, which is really easy to do, all of a sudden it's much harder to catch it. All of a sudden it's way harder to catch it. So it'll get picked up based on its behavior, not like on what the beacon actually does. Not what on the just the fact that it's whether it is or is not Cobalt Strike. What was the first part of this box? The first part of this box was we're gonna recompromise it. Don't worry too much about it. Basically, this is a very small network. The lore of this is that an old friend from university called you after several years of no contact. And get this, the most unrealistic part of this whole engagement, that this whole thing, is that an old friend from university calls you up and doesn't try to recruit you into Amway. That's the most unrealistic part of this whole scenario. You spend a few minutes catching up. Yeah, I heard you got into hacking. That's awesome. Hey, I've got a great business opportunity. I'm just kidding. I have a few servers set up on my home network for projects. I was wondering if you might like to assess them. So basically, we're testing this, guys. You can bet Defender is going to knock you down if you naively create remote thread. Yeah, that's the most well-known method of process injection. There are lots of ways to perform process injection, but create remote thread is by far the most easy and well-known one. So yeah, even Windows Defender will knock down create remote thread. I don't know if it'll knock it down by default. I don't know if Windows Defender hits you for create remote thread alone. I know it will knock you down for create thread into wait for single object. If you do create thread into wait for single object for an infinite time, it will knock that down. I don't know if it will knock down create remote thread. I don't actually know. I'd be interested to see. It does? Okay, cool. So it does. I'll take Taggart's word for it on that, that it knocks down create remote thread. But you can modify Cobalt Strike so that it doesn't use create remote thread. You can make it use direct syscalls. Direct syscalls, directly calling the kernel, like as in communicating directly with the kernel, is much sneakier, much harder to catch. But because EDR is predominantly monitoring Windows API calls. So if you can avoid API calls and make direct syscalls to the kernel, then you can be much sneakier. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Ibsec. It really means a lot to me. It means more than you can know to have you in the chat. So I really appreciate you stopping by. I hope you have a good night, my friend. We got all the people in chat today. Husky's here. Tibbs is here. Ibsec's here. Taggart's here. It's a fucking party in chat today. Welcome. All right. Let's get started. Without further ado. Anyway, so this is a very small network. We compromised his website server first. Basically, I believe there was some software that was running on his website server that had a backdoor in it. Let's go ahead and it's already started. Let me go ahead and get connected. There was a backdoor. So we compromised this, and then we We identified some other RCE in this version of his Git server, of GitLab, if I remember right. There was some RCE in GitLab that we used to compromise this Windows server, and then we did some post-exploitation, and now we're doing some... now we're going to probably load a C2 of some kind. Now, let's get connected. Let's get connected, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do with the C2. Okay, so sudo openvpn Wreath. Let's get going. All right, there that is. All right, put that away. Open CRT. Can I, like, right-click? Oh, more actions. Perfect. I can... All right, hang on. Let me see if I can... Okay, no, let's make this... Let's go to this... Heard you got into hacking. Can you hack my GF's network? No, but I do have a great business opportunity for you. You can just... All you have to do is have parties with your friends and just make money. Be your own boss. Hashtag boss babe. You could be a boss babe, Fantasy Suhal, okay? Don't you want to be a boss babe? All right, we're going to just change this. All right, so here we are. We got TryHackMe Wreath. Okay. All right, let's make this the exact size I want, and then I think I can actually change KDE's settings. Okay, the exact size I want it to be. And then let's, like, move the chat as well. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Oh, my God. You know, I could do this off stream, but it's so much better to do it live. And by better, I mean I definitely should have done it off stream, but we're going to do it now. Special application settings. We're going to add a property. Size. Perfect. Apply. Okay. Now if I close this and I reopen this, it opens up to the correct size. I just have to move it. I do have to move it, but it opens to the correct size. Oh my God, perfect. I can also change the position. Oh, let's change the position now. Special application settings. Let's add a property. Let's do position. Apply. Okay. All right, let's close it again. Let's reopen it. Oh my God, it's perfect. Look at this. We did it. We figured KDE. I do love KDE, folks. Don't we love KDE? We do love KDE, don't we, folks? Okay? Like, this is the real hacker man is when you get your setup just the way you want. Look, sex is great, but you ever get your setup just the way you want it? Like, you finally get it there? Oh, yes. There we go. I do love KDE. I like it more than the other ones anyway. I definitely like it better than GNOME. I think GNOME is a pile of dog shit. XKCE is okay, but I definitely prefer KDE despite its memory consumption. Who cares? When people complain about memory, they're acting like they're not always on machines that are like 64 gigabytes of RAM or something, and they're concerned about a desktop environment that takes like 100 more kilobytes of RAM out of like 16 gigs or something. Like, it's honestly ridiculous when people complain about memory requirements and stuff like this. Recovering GNOME user. XFCE is great. Is fantastic. But I prefer KDE. I'd like to interject that what you're referring to is I know it's KDE Plasma. I understand. I understand. It's better it's easier just to refer to it as KDE, okay? Because then people know what at the Kali install screen, they know which one to pick if they want my setup. If they want my setup, it doesn't say KDE Plasma, it just says KDE. Mate is pretty good. I use Mate on my I use Mate on Parrot. My Parrot installation. I now have a dev box for that runs Parrot. And Parrot has Mate on it instead of console. I could install KDE on that too, but I'm just trying Parrot. I'm just trying it out like in its default settings. All right, let's make sure we can ping. Let's make sure we can ping the box. Ping. 10.200.57.200. We cannot ping the box. This is a bad thing. What am I like? Is my VPN working? Yes, it could be that the box doesn't respond to pings, but I have my doubts. If config ton 0. Yep, no, we have an IP address here. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Yeah, we may have to re-download our VPN file. I don't remember if it responds to pings. It is a Linux box. Let's just try browsing to it. Let's try browsing to it and see if we can get that guy's face on our screen again. It's a different VPN. I know, I'm on the correct VPN. That's what I was checking. I was checking, and it is adding the correct route here. This is the route to the subnet. The subnet is this. So this is the correct, and alhazred Wreath.ovpn. It is the correct subnet. Or it is the correct VPN file. We're just gonna try and browse to it. 10.200.57.200. We may have to re-download our... Yeah, it looks like it's not connecting here. Yeah, so let's go ahead and... let's re-download my VPN file. Sorry about this. Every so often this does happen. Networks, download my configuration file. See, it doesn't say we're connected. It does not say we are connected in the... Well, then again, I did just disconnect, so... Let's regenerate it. Let's just regenerate, and we're going to download it again. Downloads. I just want to buy everyone in chat a nice sweater. I would love a nice sweater knitted by Husky Hacks. I would like it to be personally knitted by Husky Hacks. A nice Christmas sweater. I would absolutely wear that, no matter how ridiculous it looks. Okay. All right, there's our VPN file. Let's go ahead and cut this. Let's go over to projects. TryHackMe. This is the old one. Let's delete it. Let's paste this in. Okay. Let's connect again with the new VPN file. So that's not a good start. It does not say we are connected. Huh. I don't know what's happening here, folks. I have a red Ninja Turtle sweater that, if you don't look close, makes a great Christmas sweater. Oh, that does sound like it makes an unironically great Christmas sweater. Okay, let's just wait a few seconds. I just regenerated the VPN. Let's just wait a few seconds and see. Let's wait a few seconds here before we download it. It would not be an Alhazred stream without VPN. I know, and this time it's on TryHackMe. IPSEC's not here. We can bash Hack the Box again, okay? IPSEC's not here. Post-Hack the Box. Post-Hack the Box VPN issues. Come on. We're waiting. We're waiting. 5. I'm just going to wait 10 more seconds. Hack the Box difficulty ratings. I've already said enough about the Hack the Box difficulty ratings, okay? I've said it. Listen, they improved it. They improved. They're doing their best. They are actively... Hack the Box is actively trying to make themselves better. I'm not going to bash them on... I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. The horse isn't even dead anymore. They resurrected it. The horse isn't even dead anymore, kids. They resurrected it. It's fine. We're not beating the dead horse on the difficulty ratings until the next box where the difficulty rating is an issue. For what it's worth, I thought that medium we did last stream was perfectly reasonable for a medium. It just had a lot of features that were really annoying. Like that That firewall thing was super annoying. I couldn't do any of the normal stuff I would do. It just felt like a box that was designed to irritate me. It felt like a box that was just designed to grind my gears. But none of the techniques, if you saw, were all that hard. All of them were perfectly reasonable for a medium box, I thought. Totally reasonable. Come on. Are we connecting? Come on. Okay, let's just give it a second. Huh. It seems that I don't know, is TryHackMe having VPN issues? What do you guys say? What do you guys think? Shoot. You rated insane because you first have to hack the VPN. That would be kind of cool, actually. I'm not going to lie, that would be kind of neat. That does sound like something Hack the Box would do. You couldn't even... Keep in mind, in the old days, you couldn't even register. Like, you couldn't even register. You had to directly call the endpoint. Essentially, there was JavaScript that you had to call directly with, like, curl or something in order to get an activation key. And it looks like we're having... they took the register... yeah, I don't think there's registration hack anymore. I believe they took that away. It has social... Yeah, you have to call up Hack the Box. You have to call up Hack the Box and get them to give you a registration key. Do you know if there's a good way to do ICMP reverse shells in Ruby? It didn't look like they said... No, they don't have an ICMP payload option. The one that I've used in the past is Nashang, but it requires a Python 2 tool to do. There is a tool... I could have done that on that box the other day. I was assuming initially that's what I would have to do, which was really frustrating me because I have to fuck up my entire path. I have to install pip, Python 2's pip, Python 2 is on this box, but it doesn't. But Python 2 pip is not on the box, and I need Python 2 pip in order to get that solution to work because I had to do it on Minion. How many newbies they lost money from because they couldn't do the registry. Normally, if I have to do Python 2, I just start a Docker container. But that doesn't work in this specific instance because I can't forward ICMP packets to a Docker container very easily. I probably could do it somehow, but I don't even know how I do it. I don't think Docker exposes that functionality by default. I bore witness to the birth of Husky Hacks' room, and the rating was 100% appropriate. I have been told that Husky Hacks' room has been released, or it will be released like sometime in the next couple of months. And if so, I am prepared. I am prepared for Huskies. I am prepared for that. It looks like this is just not working, fellas. Can we connect to the normal VPN here? Oh wait, I'm in the wrong. Okay, pay no attention. Yeah, it works just fine. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. It was all TryHackMe's issue. It looks like TryHackMe.
What are you
no, shut up!
doing?
Don't. What are you doing? Step bro me. Don't. What are you doing? I forbid you to. What are you doing? Step broing me. Step bro me. I forbid it. It looks like TryHackMe worked out their connectivity issues, so we can continue. We can continue with the Thank God. Thank God TryHackMe worked out all of their VPN issues. I refuse to open up. I will not open up for the FBI. Not for this. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong, okay?
What are you doing, step bro?
Okay, we still can't access it, so... We still can't access it, so I don't know why you guys are... What are you doing step broing me? We still cannot hit the box. Man, it looks like this is slightly too big, actually. A little bit is going off the edge. Okay, we just gotta correct it just a little bit. There we go. There we go. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and come back up here. Application settings. Let's remove this. Let's add property size again. Apply. Okay. There we go. All right, so it looks like Imposter Syndrome down 57% in chat. I know, Imposter Syndrome is on life support right now because... look, it's still not working. We're still having the same issues. Do we need to reset the... Do we need to reset the VPN here? It does not appear that we can access the...
What are you doing,
I'm
Step Bro?
trying to fix it. This is the... I don't know why you're what are you doing step broing me. This is the correct file this time. Okay, this is the correct one. Do I have to start? It looked like it was already started. It was already started. Why are you guys so rude? Why is everybody so rude to me?
Hey, listen.
Cut the tape. I didn't say cut the tape. This is false advertising. Oh. It looks like TryHackMe has fixed their connectivity issues. Okay, actually cut the tape. All right, it looks TryHackMe has fixed their... Yay! I'm glad that TryHackMe has resolved all their connectivity issues now. Listen, in fairness, Imposter Syndrome, this is all just... I thought it was started, okay? I thought it was started already. Shut up! Stop CACWing! Stop! I thought it was started! I thought it was started already. All part of your It was part of my master plan. This is true. This is true. Listen, I'm talking with people in chat. I don't know. I'm dealing with the... I'm dealing with a lot right now, okay? I'm dealing with a lot. Yes. I'm not mauled. TryHackMe just needed to fix their shit, okay? Listen, hopefully their shit is now fixed. It's still not fixed. The shit is still not fixed. We're giving it a second. It's probably going to take a second to spin it up. Oh, you have a mauled? Where was my mauled? Okay, well, who mauled? Okay, wait, hang on. People only tell me to stop maulding when they themselves are maulding. They're maulding by, they're telling me that it's projection is what it is. Okay, Consti, as I just said, it is this complete projection. Nobody is maulding in here except for Consti. Consti is maulding about TryHackMe's connectivity issues. Okay? I cannot help TryHackMe's connectivity issues. Look, it's still not working. Maybe we have to let's try reconnecting to the VPN. Okay. Let's ping it again. We're still not able to ping it. It could be it's just not responding to pings. I'm waiting for the obligatory Maticus shout. I'm pretty sure he just infinitely he's dealing with network tile dysfunction. Shut up, Tibbs. Shut up. Shut up. I understand how networks work, kind of. I don't know what maulding is. It's a combination of mad and balding. And the balding makes you more mad. The idea is that you are both mad and old. I refund my hey listens. I can tell, yes. See, we still can't connect. In fairness, we still cannot connect. I'm always maulding then? Yeah, exactly. I live in a constant state of maulding. It is running now. It says, listen, it says running. Okay, just so everybody doesn't, what are you doing? just so that everyone doesn't, what are you doing, step bro me? Okay, finally working. Are we going to see his face? Ah! There's our Thomas Wreath. There's our boy, our man. There he is. There he is. Okay. I think there's actually a better way to do this. Just because... It's not PNG. Where is this image being loaded from? Thomas, where is your face coming from? Okay, you know what? We're going to do it this way. Just because you guys are being annoying. We're going to do this. Okay. Is layer 9 issue? It's layer 8! Get the joke right! If you're going to make the joke, make the joke. But make the joke correctly. The correct one is... It's a layer 8 issue. That is the correct joke. Okay. One second. There we go. Perfect. We'll just put him right over here. Put him right over here. Okay. There's our boy. There's our boy. You can just see the face all the time, chat. You can see all the chat, all the face all the time. Okay. So we did compromise this. Let's go into CD TryHackMe, CD Wreath. Okay. Layer 9 is for web web 3. I don't even want to think about it. It makes my head spin. OSI the joke is that the OSI has 7 layers, folks. I know I have to explain the joke here because people in chat are like, "What is layer 8? What are people talking about?" There is no layer 8. That's the joke. The joke is that there are 7 layers to the OSI model. If you say you have a layer 8 problem, that's a funny way of saying I just was an idiot and did something wrong. So you would say, by me, A, using the wrong VPN file, and then B, forgetting to start the network, we'd say that's a layer 8 problem because it's a problem in my goddamn brain. I know, we killed the frog, Redacted. We understand the frog now, but the frog is now dead. We get it. Okay, so we have an SSH key. We have root's SSH key, so we can actually just SSH TAC ID RSA because we already compromised this root at 10.200.57.200. Okay. So again, we already compromised this. It was compromised through webmin. Which port was webmin running on? 10,000. This is webmin. If you look at this particular version of webmin, we somehow saw the version of webmin. It might be in the HTTP headers. But my point is this version of webmin has a backdoor where you can get trivial remote code execution. And that drops us in as root, and then we just take the ID RSA file. Does that make sense to everybody? And actually, we can do ~C to open up the SSH thing here. And we can do... Let's do a proxy, since we talked so much about proxies. Proxy on 1080. Okay. Alright, so now we have an SSH port forward happening. Does anybody need an explanation of what we just did here? Can you please take that atrocity out of my screen? No, no, no. That is your penance. That is your penance for laughing at me and laughing at my layer 8 issues, okay? You get to look at Thomas Wreath, and it helpfully says, "Hi, I'm Thomas Wreath" on it. I actually like it better that it says, "Hi, I'm Thomas Wreath" on it. This is your penance, chat. You get to look into his eyes. Look into his eyes, chat. We're just gonna hack this way. This is what we're doing now. Okay? This is the stream now. No, we just want the "Hi, I'm Thomas Wreath" in there. There we go. Those are indeed, those are the eyes of pain. Okay? Anyway, alright, let's make it smaller again. Let's make it smaller again. There we go. Alright. They're using all 69% communication skills. Those are nice communication skills. If you don't know what we're laughing at, we're 65% actually. 65% communication skills. And it really looks like 65 because he doesn't use the fucking Oxford comma up here. So don't do that. I honestly, maybe some people like this. Do you like to, who likes this on resumes? Does anybody in chat like these fucking nonsense like skill bars? Like this is an RPG on a resume? Does anybody like this? Like, this is incredibly dumb. This is incredibly dumb. Do not do this. I deeply recommend you do not do this on resumes. I've seen this. This isn't exactly. This is not the Bethesda character creation screen. Okay? This is not BioWare. We're not playing Mass Effect. We're not playing Dragon Age. Okay? Seems self-entitled. It does seem entitled, doesn't it? It does seem entitled. I just don't recommend this. It's dumb. Okay, listen, I don't want to get too wrapped around the axle about that. Okay, so we have proxy chains working already. Let's look at proxy chains. Oh, you wanted me to explain the port forwarding again. So, SSH has port forwarding capability. We are turning on, SSH is now listening. It has a SOCKS proxy listening on port 1080. Localhost port 1080. So on our Kali machine. We can see here that port 1080 that SSH is listening on localhost port 1080. Okay? Yeah, so you invoke it by doing ~C. Like Oreo Byte said, you put tilde, if you have an active SSH session, you put ~C to enter that little SSH prompt. And that's mostly just for the port forwarding. It lets you turn on the port forwarding in the middle. Got to run for groceries. Have a good one, Husky. Thanks for being here. All right. So we are going to, we're now going to use this proxy. In order to do that, we're going to use something called proxy chains. I already have it set up, but I'm going to show you my proxychains.conf in case you need it. Okay. All of this is commented out. All of this other information is just information on how to use proxy chains. All you really need is this last file here, unless you're trying to like fine-tune how proxy chains works. All you really need is this last line or series of lines. You can have proxy chains use multiple proxies in a row. That's why it's called proxy chains. We're basically telling that proxy chains that there's a SOCKS 5 proxy listening at localhost port 1080. And now we can just run proxy chains and literally any command like nmap, and it will proxy it for us. .57.150. And there we go. We see that port 3389 is open on the .150, which is the GitLab server. But if we run that without proxy chains, if we take proxy chains out of the equation, and it says now that we can do attack PN. What it's really doing is it's trying to ping the host essentially. And now we see that it's filtered. So that what this means is that there's a firewall in the way. There's a firewall blocking us. But if we pivot through our proxy on our compromised host, using proxy chains and SSH, all of a sudden we can reach it. Now it's open. Does that make sense, everybody? Does that make sense to everybody in chat? That basically how proxy chains works? Jonathan Data would make his resume like that? Oh, he 100% would. And he would also put them all at 100%. What would 100% on one of those sliders be? You're like development 100%. What does that even mean? What does that mean? Anything? What happens if you use tilde Swinton instead of tilde C? I don't even want to know. I don't want to know what that cursed female Draco Malfoy would do to my Kali machine. Like, I don't want it. I don't know what she would do, but I don't want to know what it is. I do not want to experience it. I know all the programming. Exactly. I feel like that's the Galaxy Brain guy in the meme. Or no, you're the guy. You're the Wojak that's sitting in a chair out of his own brain. That's you. Wojak brain chair. Yeah, here you go. You're this guy. There you go. This is you. If you're 100%, this is 100% development skill. 100% on development is the Wojak brain chair. You could specify tech D. Yeah, you can also do it from the command line. I was just too lazy to do that. Okay, so let's do proxy chains. Let's do free RDP. And let's do... okay, so this is the whole command that we ran last time. We're gonna run free RDP. This is a remote desktop client. What's the difference between SOCKS 4 and SOCKS 5? I believe SOCKS 4 doesn't do UDP, and I think SOCKS 5 does do UDP. Someone can feel free to correct me on that. I think a SOCKS 5 proxy also proxies UDP traffic. Is that correct? Am I wrong? Someone correct me. Someone in chat knows. So this is a open source remote desktop client that I like to use. This is the host we're connecting to. This is the username we're using. I believe we added a user last time, and a password. So we exploited this box too last time. We couldn't RDP directly into it. We exploited it last time. I think it was was it a serialization exploit? I don't remember. There was some kind of RCE that we executed. Oh no, it was that GitLab execution where you basically could create a repository and then use it to upload a web shell. You uploaded a web shell. Yeah, SOCKS 4 no UDP. Yeah, there you go. So SOCKS 4 does not use UDP and less authentication methods. So SOCKS 5 just uses UDP and can do more methods of authentication. If the box has been reset, will your user be removed? Yes, but I don't think the box has been reset because it has the same IP address. When you reset the box, the third octet changes here in the IP address. So I think it's the same. It should be the same instance. And we're also adding this part. This is adding a shared drive. This is one thing I like about FreeRDP, xFreeRDP, that you can actually specify a shared drive. So we're going to actually mount a local drive on the target. I don't think we may need that anymore. But this is how we used Mimikatz last time. And it fails. Logon fail. Okay, so maybe it was changed. We may have to... No, we can just RDP in as Timothy. Or as Thomas. We have Thomas's credentials. Oh, that's the wrong one. Where was my TryHackMe Wreath? There we go. Thomas I Heart Ruby. So we have his credentials. I guess we can just use his. You can also do plus clipboard. Oh yeah, xFreeRDP is super good. I do recommend that over our desktop. I find it's much more feature rich than our desktop. I've been using it ever since I did my OSCE exam. And I started my OSCE exam being unable to connect to the test host in the exam. Because our desktop just wouldn't work. And that's when I learned about xFreeRDP. And I've been using it ever since. We're going to want to put this in quotes. Yeah, xFreeRDP can also use pass the hash. Post connect failed. Interesting. Okay, let's just do... Maybe he doesn't have remote administration access or something. Let's do administrator. How do we do the hash? We can do pass the hash. Is it? It's not in the /p, is it? Is it /h maybe? Password, is there a /h for hash maybe? No, that's for height. All right, how do we do pass the hash? Grep hash. /pass the hash. Okay. Okay. So we'll do administrator and /pass the hash. And then the administrator hash. Do that. There we go. So that one works. Preventing this user from signing in. Okay, all right, fine. We'll re-exploit the box. Jesus. God, I have to look at his fucking face again. Now he's gonna be on stream too for you guys. So what port was it listening on? Was it 80 on that GitLab was listening on? 80, 443, 8080. 8443. It looks like it's just port 80. Okay, it's just port 80. Okay, we're gonna assume it's just port 80. Let's do... I don't think we're gonna need... No, we're gonna need burp. Let's go ahead and do burp. Ekichiro, Giomio, Xha, JMZ, Mike 0XD, Nerdheart, Oregon. Thank you all for the follows. T-Manster with the 11-month re-indoctrination into the cult. Welcome back to the All Has Red Team, my friend. Thanks for supporting the stream. All right, we're doing... God, it's fucking... The eyes haunt me. It haunts me. The funny part is people are still going to come into the stream and go, what box are we doing? When his fucking face is on the machine. Or is on the... Is on there. Okay, we need the... This needs to be 8081. My burp listens on port 8081.
A hunter must hunt.
We need to go to user options and get it to use a SOX proxy. Yep, we're using SOX proxy. All right. So now, if we browse to 150, burp should intercept. Except it's not doing it. $80.81. And burp is not intercepting. I don't have a scope or anything, do I? Target, scope. Nope. It's not intercepting. Have you tried HTTPS? Ooh. That's a good point. Yeah, there you go. So, but why is burp... This is what we're supposed to get. And then we're supposed to go to git stack. Like this. So we have git stack here. Why is burp not... No, I'm using HTTP. Double check the proxy port. Let's double check. I mean, it looks like it's getting properly proxied. Yeah, we can reach burp. It's just not appearing in my HTTP. Oh, there it is. Now it's in the HTTP history. That was bizarre. I don't know what that was about. There you go. And now if we look at git stack, if we look at like the versions, view page source, do we have a git stack version here? We figured out the default username and password. It's so nice when they put the default username and password just right fucking there. Nope, it did not work anyways. Everyone should just put their default credentials right there on the login page. That would be very much more helpful. Very useful for me. I'm looking for git stacks version. I don't remember if maybe it's returning it in HTTP headers. It's Apache. It is not. It does not look like. Git stack rest. I mean, it's just Django that's listening, and then we have to go to git stack in order to reach it. I'm not sure how we figured out what version this is. Or we might have just, might have just done search exploit git stack, and we see remote code execution, unsanitized argument remote code execution, and remote code execution. So, I believe it was this Python script that we used before. I believe that this markdown document just has this Python script in it. And this Python script is right here. So what this script does is it basically you can create a repository as a user. It's going to enumerate users first. The first thing it does is it enumerates users and then creates a repository as that user, for that user, and then uploads a PHP file to it. And then we use that PHP file to execute git stack, git php, exploit.php. Yeah, so we're just uploading. Okay, let's do this. Let's execute this.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
It's Python 2. Nice ZSH profile. Is it public to download? Yeah, I mean, if you ask me for it on Discord, I'll give it to you. This is not ZSH, though. This is cool retro term. ZSH is running in it. But the actual, what's causing all the effects and stuff, the retro terminal and stuff, the cool looking effects, is mostly cool retro term. Python 2? Yes, it's Python 2. That is the concern. So we can do Docker shell here, Python 2.7. So I can use Docker to drop me into a Docker container. And now we can do Python. Now if we execute Python in here, we do see that Python 2 is there. Python 43777. No module name requests, so we need to do pip install requests. She's a 10, but she writes in Python 2. Yeah, no. Gonna have to. It's gonna be a no. It's gonna be a yikes from me, fam. Okay? It's gonna be a yikes from me. Let's see. Okay, so we can now. Okay, so it doesn't even have like help dialogue. This is a really, really, really ham-fisted exploit, which is fine. It's exploit code. I expect it to be a little bit weird, janky. I'm not expecting the full developer stuff. So we have to actually like change You can't put that all stuff on the command line. We have to actually change it. Oh, but I don't have epoxy chains in here, do I? Okay, so we have the requests module. We can use Python 2 from our Kali as long as we don't need to pip install anything. Pip install is what we would need, because I don't have pip on here. And if you do have pip, it messes up all of your paths. And I know there are Python environments, and I've never bothered to set one up because it's too much work. I'd rather just use Docker containers. Okay, so we can do Python 2. We need to go Kate 43777.py. Let's open this sucker up. Yep. Command equals who am I? We set it up in the proxy. So we added a proxies. We made this modification to the script last time. We had it put its traffic through burp so we could see it. And I think this worked just fine last time, actually. So we can do proxy chains, Python. We shouldn't actually need that. We should just be able to do Python 2 40377.py. And then it should, you see that it's sending its stuff through burp, and we see that we are NT authority system. So let's see, let's look at the requests. We see a post request to exploit.php. We see we've uploaded a PHP script to the /web directory, and we see that we can execute commands that way. So if we send to repeater, send, we can see that we can execute who am I. We can do like a dir. Let's do dir. And we see that we can execute code. Does this make sense to everybody? Our boy Thomas Wreath isn't even looking at the camera. It's so awkward. I know, dude. Like it's haunting me. Redacted with coming in, not content with his Bezos initiation. Our friend Redacted has become a true blue cultist. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the All Has Red team proper. Devling Dev, thank you for the follow. How's the CR2 course? I haven't gotten any further. I've been too busy. I'm trying to crank out that YouTube content, so I don't have I have not had time to dig deeper into CRTO 2.0. You wrote the exploit.php? I did not. The exploit.php is coming from this script. If you want to look at that again. What's happening is it's basically uploading this PHP script right here. It's the PHP script is really simple. Can we make this any bigger? We can. It's basically just uploading this very simple PHP web shell that takes a post parameter called a and just puts it into the system command. And it's uploading it to exploit.php, which ends up in the /web directory. Does that make sense? What you're working on lately? Still on the Patreon video? The Patreon video is already up. It's been up since late last week. I posted it, I believe, on Thursday. Patreon video is still up. I don't know what I want to do yet for YouTube. If you have ideas for what you'd like to see for YouTube, give me ideas. I'm open to them. A couple ideas. People do want to see. I know people have said that they want to see Python. They want to see Sliver. Hi, honey. They want to see this lady. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Say hi to the stream. For those who don't know, this is my cat, Star. Okay, quick long cat. Chat wants to see long cat. Long cat. Look how long. Look how long she is. She very long. She's dissociating. Do you see her face? This is the face of a cat that's dissociating from herself. in order to minimize, this is like when POWs are tortured in internment camps, and this is their face. This is what they get. She's dissociating. Okay, go ahead. All right, back to it. All right, so now we're going to get a power shell, reverse shell. Can we even reach? We added a user last. Let's just do that again. Net user, Al-Hazred, Cthulhu 1, 2, 3. Add. So we're just going to add an Al-Hazred user. Yep. Net local group administrators. Al-Hazred. Add. Okay, net local group. Remote desktop users. Which you have to put quotes around. That's what we learned about last time. Okay, so now we can do all of that just so that we can do free RDP. And it does now. It just doesn't even work. Connection state. This is the error we got. Log on failure. Certificate verification failure. Can I get free RDP to just disregard their certificate? Oh, it's going through the proxy. Let's just open up another instance of Firefox. Open new window. Let's do one without burp. Is it cert ignore? Okay, let's try that. I think it's what's happening here is free RDP is seeing that the certificate is different from what it expects, and this is happening because the last time we did this, X free RDP saw a different certificate. We still get it. X free RDP ignore certificate. Cert ignore not working anymore. It's cert tac ignore. Still getting the issue. Newbie Tuesday hype? Indeed. Can I just... It's not applied. Can we delete the cache? It has a certificate cache. Where is it stored? How dare you not use plus clipboard? I'm aware the clipboard is a thing. Right now, it won't even connect. So, because I have to clear the stupid cache. It's config free RDP. Perfect. Thank you. IPSEC is so helpful. Imagine that. IPSEC being helpful. No way. If you can believe it. I guess I could have guessed it was in .config, right? I do not see free RDP. Oh, it's there. Free RDP. Let's RM known hosts. We're just going to delete a file without looking at it. What could go wrong? We still get the issue. What is going on here? Oh, is it because I didn't... I think I put... Did I put an exclamation point at the end on this one? Maybe this whole time it's just been... Another... Like, today's been the day for... Yep. I put a damn exclamation point on the end this time and not last time. Today's the day for layer 8 issues, I tell you. There it goes. Thank God that TryHackMe resolved their connectivity issues again. Oh, whew. Thank God we did it. Delete the entire directory, YOLO. Yeah. No problem. No issues there. All right, we did it. Good work, team. Alrighty. Today's the day for connectivity issues. Okay, so we have local admin access. So what we did last time was... Notice we have a shared folder here. This is our shared folder. Then this is our local directory. We just shared our local directory here through free RDP. So we can start a command prompt. What's the easiest way to do this? It doesn't have a drive letter. How do we get to this? How do I navigate to this in... I feel like I ran into the same problem last time. How do I... Can I navigate to this in CMD? Can I, like, right-click and, like, open command prompt here or something? Shift right-click? Nope. Why do we have Thomas looking at us? Because this is your penance, chat. This is your penance. Okay, let's see. Let's open x64. Try net share. Drag a file into it. Can you do that? Wait a minute. I don't even think... Wait a minute. If this works, that's going to be nutty.
A hunter must hunt.
I believed. We need to run that as administrator. It's probably just going to pop up the command prompt and then put it back down again. If it was on C. Oh, I could. Oh, yeah, I just copied it to the desktop last time. I'm an idiot. I can just copy it to the desktop. I don't know why I didn't bother to do that. So let's copy to the desktop. The rest of these are not necessary. This is a kernel driver that... This is a kernel driver that you can optionally use with Mimikatz for something, but I don't remember what it is. And these are its DLLs, which you can load if you want. Users... Desktop. Okay, so now Mimikatz is here. Mimikatz.exe. I'm only showing this again for people who weren't here last time. All right, so we can do... The first thing you always do is privilege debug. Mimikatz needs debug permissions, so it's going to elevate itself. And then apparently we have to do token elevate. So now we're NT authority system in here. And we can do... the one you start with every time is securlsa logon passwords. There's nothing in here though. All you're getting is you get my credentials. You'll get my hash, but we already have that, and we get a bunch of machine hashes. So there are no other logged in users. This dumps the LSAS process, so it's only going to give us logged in users. But if we do LSA dump SAM, we can get the contents of the SAM file, and the SAM file has Thomas's credentials in it. Wait a minute. Default, this is me right here. User Pegasus. Ooh. It's apparently the character Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh is in here. I'm certain I just saw you in a John Hammond video. Hey, Headsick, good to see you. Yeah, you did just see me in a John Hammond video, the one that came out today. There is a Yu-Gi-Oh character in here, who has made an account. User, who has also made an account. So these are all other TryHackMe users. And here's the Thomas user. We cracked his hash in CrackStation last time. And you can also get the administrator hash. That's right there. Last time, I think we also dumped it manually, which is why it showed up like this. It showed up like this because I downloaded the system and SAM file and dumped them manually. Yeah, so there you go. So we ran Mimikatz. So now it's time to talk about C2. And so what is C2? C2 stands for Command and Control. Now, if you're like so put yourself if you've not been on a real penetration test, you're going to be dealing with probably a lot of different hosts all at once. Like sometimes thousands or tens of thousands of hosts will be on the network all at once. And you're going to need to manage compromising a whole lot of those hosts all at once. And when this happens, you're not going to want to be dealing with reverse shells and stuff like that. That's a lot of headache. You don't want a separate reverse shell for every single machine. That gets inefficient. It gets hard to manage. So what you want is some kind of C2 framework to easily manage all of these compromised hosts. Okay? Yeah, and what helps with intro to C2, yeah, there's plenty of rooms that, like in the red team pathway. The red team pathway, we'll talk an awful lot about C2. This is where we start talking about like a C2 framework. C2 would be anything like Empire. PowerShell Empire is a good one. It's a little old. I don't use it anymore, but I'm not on real targets anyway. But there's PowerShell Empire. There is Covenant. There's Sliver. There's Posh C2. There's Mythic. There's Merlin. There's Cobalt Strike. There is... I don't know. What am I missing? Covenant? Did I say Covenant yet? I said Covenant is there. There's a whole bunch of them. Okay? There's a whole fucking bunch of them. So, honestly, it's your pick. What do you want me to use? We've used... I think the one they use is Empire. Let me double check. I believe that the one they use here is Empire. Yeah, Empire. So they have us use Empire, but we've used Empire before. Would you like to see Offensive Notion? We're not able to use Offensive Notion is a C2 framework, but it's not going to be useful for this because this machine cannot reach the internet. We want to see Sliver? People are saying Sliver in chat. Cobalt Strike? I don't have Cobalt Strike installed on this particular host. All right, we'll do a quick poll. Which one do you want to see? I have not used Sliver before, but I'm fine learning it in real time if you guys want to see that. Sliver, Empire, Merlin, Mythic. I guess we'll just put and Covenant. Get your votes in. Get your votes in. These are only the ones that came to mind. There's plenty of other C2 frameworks. They're a dime a dozen. I only picked open source ones. We're going to use open source ones so that if anyone's following along with the stream, which some of you I know do, you'll be able to do what I'm doing here. Mythic, I want to see you struggle. I've never used Mythic either. I've never used any of these except for Empire and Covenant. I've used Empire and Covenant. Covenant, I detest. I detest Covenant. I do not like that framework. Armitage. I'm not going to use Armitage either. Mythic is so hard to use. Ugh. I was looking at it as maybe a possibility for like for Mac OS networks, but I think Sliver has an agent on Mac OS, so maybe I'll just use Sliver instead if Mythic is that much of a pain. What is the point to learn different frameworks? I mean, different frameworks will have different features. On a commercial red team, on a proper professional commercial red team, chances are you're going to be using Cobalt Strike, or if you're really professional, something completely custom. But the one that professional C2s, professional red teams almost always use is Cobalt Strike. But I don't like to use Cobalt Strike on stream. I've used it a few times. But Cobalt Strike is not an open source tool. It is closed source and commercial. So not everyone can afford a $4,000 license. So I always get people complaining. All right, looks like Sliver was chosen. So let's start installing Sliver. Let's figure out Sliver. I have never used Sliver. You're going to see my first interaction with it. Sliver, GitHub. Oh, I forgot I disabled the search in the URL bar. Sliver, GitHub.
A hunter must hunt.
Here we go. Adversary emulation framework. Sliver is an open source cross-platform adversary emulation or red team framework. The nice thing about Sliver is it's procedurally generated C2 and it's dynamic code generation. As in, every time you generate the stager, it looks a little bit different than it did last time. So it's more resistant to signature-based detections than most C2 frameworks, which have hard set signatures that it'll find. Headsick, thanks for the first time indoctrination into the cult, my dude. It's good to have you, and thank you for the 100 Tiggle biddies. It's good to have you. It's definitely great to have you around. Thanks for the follow as well. Dusty Wade bringing us DacJan, YXOSec and Mortimus. Welcome to the All Has Red Team, my friend. Thank you so much, Dusty Wade. You're so kind. And Tarek, Killian Joke, Roasted Function, El Gato Rojito, and Ihaj, El Hakmi. Welcome to the All Has Red Team. Thank you for the follow, I mean. Miroslav, you've indoctrinated IPSEC, I see. Thank you so much, Miroslav. And welcome to the cult, IPSEC. Is that the real IPSEC? As far as I know, it is, yes. As far as I'm aware. Either that or it's a really good impersonator because he clearly knows his shit. All right, so let's... so how do we install this? Linux one-liner, sliver. It's just sliver.sh. That's its own website. Sliver.sh? I'll be damned. It does have its own website. Okay. Sliver.sh and then run Sliver. Okay, let's do this. Okay. So we're installing Sliver here. It is called Sliver because it is hearkening to a Magic the Gathering, a series of Magic the Gathering cards. Like if we type in Sliver. Yeah, you get Magic the Gathering cards. See? The first Sliver, Sliver Legion. Slivers are like, I don't know, like the alien, kind of. Like an insect, like a series of insect cards that all complement each other. They all, when you have a Sliver out, all other Slivers gain that Sliver's effect. I don't know why I'm pointing this out. We're just waiting for it to install, and I'm trying to think of something to talk about. But basically, they're a really annoying, they're a really, 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 really annoying series of Magic the Gathering cards because every time when you play the Sliver mechanic is whenever you play a Sliver, all Slivers on the field gain the effect of that Sliver. So if one Sliver is like indestructible, for instance, all Slivers on the field become indestructible. So it becomes real annoying real fast when you have a few of these out. A worst card game ever? Oh, I disagree. I used to love Magic the Gathering. I don't play it as much anymore. And what is going on? This is taking forever. Hang on. A password is required, of course. Let's just sudo su. Let's do it this way. We'll just curl it and then bash it. Install bash. There we go. right, it's doing the thing. A lot of great creators in stream today. Yeah, fantastic. It's great. It's a great day to be streaming. Someone else sub or bits. Hype trains are fun. I do love hype trains. We do love hype trains on the stream. You might show inappropriate pictures. Is there Sliver cosplay? Because if so, I'd be into it. Sliver. Oh, there's a trail. Is there some kind of a... Oh, it looks like there's some kind of movie that I haven't seen. Yeah, it looks like there's a movie with like okay, I won't scroll down anymore then. Anyway, I just wanted to tell that's where it comes from. Sliver is a Magic the Gathering reference. Okay. Sliver. All right, so we are connected. All hackers gain skulk. So again, this is another reference to the Sliver thing. All slivers gain the effects of any sliver that is on the field. Welcome to the Sliver Shell. Please type help for options. So we need to start a listener. How do listeners work in Sliver? Let's see if we can figure it out just organically. Start an HTTPS listener. That sounds fine. Let's just do a regular HTTP listener, I suppose. In the real field, you might want to use HTTPS. I don't think there should be any kind of a proxy, web proxy or anything here that would stop HTTPS. So can I just type HTTPS here? Well, that was fucking easy. Okay, how do we generate an agent then?
Hype train.
Generate an implant binary. Perfect. Help generate. Okay, so we can see the... So far, I really like it. No, MTLS? Why am I doing MTLS? Wow, StarCraft. StarCraft is coming in hot. Why is it so loud? Let's just turn it down a little bit. We'll do StarCraft, that's fine. What's the difference between a dropper, stager, implant, and beacon? They're really all different names for the same thing. But they kind of hint at different functionality. Like a beacon, beacons, if that makes sense. So, yeah, like, okay, so what? So Taggart and Husky, why would we use MTLS over HTTPS? This is my first time. This is my first time with Sliver. Explain it to me. What is MTLS? Connection string? What is this? Let's go up. Start an MTLS listener. What is an MTLS listener? Does a client-server authentication, so one client will only know and talk to one specific server? Okay, we'll do MTLS then. That's fine. I don't care. Can we get a list of listeners? Can we stop the HTTPS listener now? How do we stop a listener if we've already started it? Again, this is my first time. How do we stop a listener? I know that MTLS starts the MTLS listener, but I want to stop the HTTP one. Is it jobs? Jobs makes sense. There we go. Is it jobs tac K for kill 1? Ah, perfect. There we go. Okay. We'll do MTLS then. Okay. So we're listening on port 8888. I guess that's fine. And we can now we can do help generate again. We want to generate a stager here. So, oh, you can have you have evasion features. I don't think that'll be necessary at the moment, but it may be necessary later. Okay. MTLS connection strings. Do we need to generate for a specific listener, like an Empire? Let's just look at the help. Getting started. Okay. So, implants, beacon versus session. So, okay, so this illustrates what I was about to talk about before. So, what's the difference between a beacon and a session? The session is basically going to forge a constant communication between the compromised host and your Kali machine. Basically, the connection is gonna be constant. You would not use this on a real network if you're trying to be stealthy. You'd use the beacon version. The beacon version means that the implant, every so often, the connection is not constant. The beacon means that every so often, the implant is going to wait, it's going to sleep for a while, and then it'll wake up and it's going to reach out to the, it's going to call home, and it's going to see if there are new instructions for it. And if it has instructions, it's going to execute them, send the output, and then go back to sleep again. And this is much quieter. It's much quieter than before. Headsick, thank you so much for the 100 Tiggle biddies. Justy Wade, thanks for the hit Tiggle biddies. Feeding that hype train, I appreciate it. Kieran, bringing Husky Hacks into the cult. Octavius for 3 months. Welcome back, my friend. All right, so our generating implant. Here we go. MTLS example.com. You must specify at least one C2 endpoint using TAC MTLS. So I guess MTLS is what we want. Using MTLS or WireGuard whenever possible. Okay. Okay. Save and TAC save, and this is where it's going to get saved to, right? Let's do it in beacon mode just to be a little bit more realistic, I suppose. Now the real question is it going to be able to reach back to us? Like if I host, let me find out. Python 3 TAC M http.server. Let's just do port 80, I suppose. And let's go to FreeRDP. Open up Internet Explorer. Ooh, boy. HTTP 10.50.55.211. I'm trying to see if it can reach out, and it looks like it cannot. Yeah. It's super safe for red teaming when it comes to let the pivoting reverse shell begin. Yeah, we're gonna have to set up a port forward, I think. We are gonna have to set up a port forward to get it to talk to us, which is fine. All right, so here we are. This is way back when. This is our compromised Linux host. Let's see if this will work. We need to do a reverse port forward. So, ~C. So we need to listen on port, I guess, 18110. Is there any IP tables, actually? IP tables, TAC NVL. There are no IP tables rules. So there's no firewall here, at least, that would stop me. So let's do ~C. There we go. And let's do TAC R for reverse port forward. We're going to listen on port, I guess, 18110. And then we're going to forward to port... Can we actually... Okay, hang on a second. I need to double check. Which curl? Okay, we can curl. Curl http://10.50.55.211. Okay, we can indeed curl. Can we... If I listen on port... 8888, which is the port that Sliver chose for us. Sliver is already listening on that port. Let's see if we can curl it anyways. Let's do port 8888. Empty reply from server. So we can reach it, though. Yeah, okay, so we can reach it. So let's do ~C, and let's do a reverse port forward 8888 to 10.50.55.211. That's not right. No, this is the... No, it's going to be 127.0.0.1 8888. Am I right about that? Correct my reverse port forward logic. This is... I think that's right. I think that's right. Okay. So let's curl 127.0.0.1 8888. Empty reply. Perfect. Okay. So now we're listening on 8888. If we do netstat tac ANP TCP grep 8888. Netstat. Oh, yeah, this is CentOS. I forgot. So this is a way from ensuring what's communicating to them is them, right? Yes. Because, like, for example, I'll give you something that happened just the other day. Just the other day, I was working on the DLL sideloading video. That's on my Patreon. That's currently on my Patreon. This happened last week. And I had a interpreter listener on 8443. In order to do that, because I was trying to get a callback from Microsoft Teams at 8443 using a custom DLL, and I received a connection from just a random person, like some random IP address, connected with my, because I forgot that I had port forwarding set up to that port on my router. So like there are scripts that are constantly patrolling the internet, looking for interpreter, looking for Cobalt Strike instances, looking for all of that stuff. And the thing is, if you use staged payloads, you can actually extract a lot of information about the team server from the stager itself. So this MTLS, I believe, is meant to prevent that kind of thing. It's meant to prevent anyone but your stagers from communicating with your server, which is good OPSEC. Okay, so we've got a listener now. Let's make sure that. Let's start up PowerShell. No one has ever wanted to open the PowerShell ISE. No, I will stand by that. Literally no one in the history of time has ever intentionally opened the PowerShell ISE. It's never happened. I love the PowerShell. Okay, so IPSEC's the only person who loves the PowerShell ISE. It's been used in my video. Okay, fair enough. All right. Everyone in chat is telling me I'm wrong. So I guess I'm wrong. Let's do... What's the IP? Is it 10.200.57.200? Let's make sure that we do this. I'm just making sure that this machine can now, via the port forward we just set up, communicate with Sliver. Where is Sliver running? On number 3? I wish Sliver was a little bit more verbose in this instance. I cannot tell if it's unable to connect. It might be the firewall again. Check the firewall. PSI. All right, everyone's telling me I'm wrong. Okay, fine. We're just going to turn this firewall off. Turn off. Turn off. Okay, off. Let's see if it can reach it now. I'm just trying to see if it can reach. You need to make an implant. I'm aware. This is not how we do. I'm just making sure that the port forwarding works. And I'm not sure that it does. I am unsure that the port forwarding is working the way that I want it to. Perhaps we need to specify... Let's do this. I wouldn't check with IWR. It may not... I think we might have to specify what interface we want to listen on. So let's do... TAC... D 1080... TAC R 10.200.57.150. Or no, 200. So we gotta specify what interface, I think. Port 8888. And then we port forward to 127.0.0.1.8888. Let's try that. There we go. Yeah, it may not. It may just be that that IWR won't work. But we're gonna find out. Little explanation. Yeah, we're gonna. So what I'm doing here. Is I'm first of all setting up our dynamic proxy that we've been using, and we're setting up also reverse port forward, meaning we're going to listen on this Linux machine. We're setting up a listener on this Linux machine that when connections come into this port and this at this IP address. It's going to be forwarded through the tunnel, through the SSH tunnel, and then it's going to be forwarded to localhost 8888. Hopefully that makes sense. I know tunneling gets confusing really fast. We're basically we've discovered that this machine cannot reach, does not seem to be able to call out to our Kali machine. It cannot reach our Kali machine directly. So we have to pivot through this target. Doesn't Sliver support proxy chains? Dude, I have no idea. I've never used Sliver. It might. It might. All right, so I need to generate. All right, so what does this generate command need to be? Let's just try to generate. Okay, generate. It needs to be MTLS. And then save. Is it? We had the documentation open. That should probably be tac save. Here we go. Save. Save is where we're saving the... Yeah. Okay. So home. Oh, Hazred. TryHackMe. Wreath. Like that. Invalid use of command generate. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Is socks a part of the armory? New C2 framework on Newbie Tuesday? Dude, I know. We're going in hot today. MTLS needs a string. What string? What string does it want? Like, this just says MTL... Oh, it needs a... Okay, what is... This is a domain, obviously. Can I just include an IP address here? Oh, it needs a host port. Okay, so it's going to be 127.0.0.1, right? Again, pardon me, I've not ever used this. I've never used this C2 framework. This is the first time. So it's 8888, right? Is that good? Okay, so it is generating, it appears. Windows AMD 64 sounds good. Hopefully we don't need to do anything. Again, we're off the beaten path here. TryHackMe wants you to use Empire for this. TryHackMe wants you to use Empire for this. Hop listeners. Okay, let's look at hop listeners. Okay, yeah, so it is doing... So Sliver probably has the ability to do this as well. But I've not... This is, again, Newbie Tuesday, so I don't want to, like... just get nutty here. Do we... How do we set up a hop listener in Sliver, I wonder? Is the implant going on the Windows machine or the Linux machine with the port forward? It's going on the Windows machine. Wow, this takes a long time to generate. It is going on the Windows machine and should be calling back through the Linux machine. Hopefully that makes sense. It's going on this machine, and it needs to call back through this machine. So wouldn't the MTLS address be the Linux address? I thought that was supposed to be... Yes, that does make sense now that you mention it. That does indeed make sense now that you mention it. Why is this taking forever? Oh, crap. Okay, well... Listen, now we get to see it all again, okay? This is all for the best. Already in use. Is it already listening again? Oh, or it's already listening. It just restarted the job for us. Okay. Yes. Good call. It is definitely supposed to be... That is definitely a good call. I thought it was just referring to the listener. But yes, you're absolutely correct. 10.200.57.200. Okay. Port 8888. Again, I think Sliver probably has the ability to do this. Perfect. Now, those who didn't get it, for sure not me, I totally get it. We'll have a chance to understand. Yeah, I'm like that too, my dude. All of the stream is like that. Sliver is a job, so it stays alive even when you control C. Oh, very nice. Okay. Well, so far it's been pretty easy to use. I've never used Sliver before, first time. Does it normally take this long to compile the implants? Does it normally take... It's Go? Oh, it's Go! Well, that explains everything. That explains everything. Go is going to take fucking all day. Also, Sliver GUI. Why the hell would I want to use a GUI? Why? What self-respecting hacker is using a GUI? Supertrip.exe. Okay. A GUI. Lel. Imagine that. Imagine, chat. Imagine using a GUI.
A hunter must
Or
hunt.
you can absolutely use a GUI. I'm not going to gatekeep people on the GUI. If you want to use the GUI, go ahead. I'm just memeing here. All right, Super Trip. We execute. Let's see if it gives us a connection. It does not appear to be connecting back properly. So something must be amiss. I feel like something must be amiss here. Jesus, look at that chonky executable. I think you missed a firewall. Well, I've disabled... There is no firewall on the Linux host. There's no firewall on this Linux host. We've already checked that. And there is a firewall on the Windows host. But we've disabled it. How big was the EXE? It is 12,000 kilobytes. So 12 megs. About 12 megs in size. $12 megs. Okay, so we disabled the firewall on this machine. Firewall CMD tac state. Does that what is that in? Is that in Bash? I can feel the weight of that executable. It's a dummy thick guy. I disabled the firewall here. Okay, it's running. Like, I checked IP tables. There must be a different firewall. It looks like there's a different firewall. Let's see. Can we remove it? System D? Okay, fine. All right, how do we disable it? Y'all know we defenders prefer small payloads, right? Oh, wait. Prefer small payloads? I mean, there are benefits to larger payloads. Don't get me wrong. If the payload's large enough, Windows Defender won't even scan it. Won't even bother with it. But it's much more unwieldy. And it's easy enough to make a payload bigger. Okay, is there a way to disable it here? Yeah, this must be UFW. It might be tac disable. I don't run it like, whoop. UFW disable firewall. Well, this is... UFW is not there. Okay, so what's firewall CMD then? I've never run into that before. Firewall CMD? Of the Firewall D demon. I've never run into this. Interesting. UFW is not present. Disable. In CentOS. Of course it's CentOS. Like, state, stop Firewall D. I don't run into CentOS too often. Okay, so we stopped it. Can we do firewall CMD state? Not running. Okay. Now let's see if our one will call back to us. If our sliver will call back to us. You never use System D-Day systems? I never use them for my own personal workflow, no. They're, like they sure, like, they're present, fine. Like, they're around. CentOS and Red Hat are used just fine. I just don't run into them too often on assessments. Nothing? We still get nothing. I think you have to modify SSH config to allow port forwarding. What? Why would I need that? Like, if I go back here and I curl 10.200.57.200 port 8888, we get connection refused. So it actually is not forwarding the port. So, do we need to modify... God, this is a headache. Okay. Port forwarding. Does it need to be changed on this box? I think it needs to be changed on this box. And then we have to restart it, yeah. CD... Etsy, SSH, SSHD config. Etsy, SSH, nano, SSHD config. Okay. And then which line do we change? Allow TCP port forwarding. I think it's close to the bottom, if I recall. Yeah, there it is. Allow TCP port forwarding. Allow TCP port forwarding. Okay. System Z. Restart SSHD. All right, let's try it now. Let's just do a full reconnect. Okay. Now let's curl 10.200.57.200 port 8888. Connection still refused. In Nano, you can search with Control W. I always forget how to do it. I'll forget how to do it again in 10 seconds. Okay, what is the problem now? System. Did I restart it wrong? It says, let me just verify that I'm doing this correctly. Service SSH. I thought this only worked on Debian. I did system CTL, and that did not seem to work. SSHD status. It's active. Service SSHD restart. At the top it says uptime. Did it say uptime and I didn't see it? Active since 1 minute 25 seconds. So it did restart. I did save it, didn't I? Let's do Control W. Search for allow TCP. Yeah? Uncommented. Seems like it's working. All of this, we could have just put a sliver bot and plan port forward. We're probably going to do that here in a second. We're almost certainly going to be doing that here in just a second. Oh, I hit Wireshark by accident. Whoops. We lost our... Oh, we lost our remote desktop because I killed the port forward. Gateway ports, yes. Yes. Did I not change gateway ports? Hang on. Okay. What does the gateway ports line do? Is that the like to listen on high ports or something? Service SSH allows listens on non-local. Oh, okay. SSHD restart. Let's do it one more time. Okay, service SSHD status. Okay, the uptime says 9 seconds ago. That's good. Let's curl 10.50.55. No. 10.200.57.200 port 8888. Oh, there we go. We did it. Good work, team. We did it. All right, good work. We pulled it off. Okay, let's again, all of this when I'm sure Sliver has the capability of doing this. I'm quite sure Sliver can handle all this itself, but this is the first time using Sliver, and B, I think it's a lot clearer to you what's happening if I do it manually. So we'll execute Super Trip again. Run as administrator. Okay. Is it gonna call back? Come on. Will it show in Sliver if I gets a new if it gets a new agent check-in? What do you even call them? Do you call them agents? Okay. Well, it does not seem to be reaching us. Okay, so we can reach it. Oh, this is happening. Maybe it's just really, really slow. TryHackMe gives its Windows machines basically no resources. So I think it's just really, really, really slow. But we can reach it. We can reach it now. We are not having any more connectivity issues. Unless I generated the implant wrong or something. How long until we go to Empire? We're not going to go to Empire. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. Have faith. Again, TryHackMe gives its Windows machines barely enough resources to run, so it's going to take a million freaking years. Yeah, maybe we'll just close Mimikatz. We'll close Internet Explorer. Let's see if Task Manager has it running. Supertrip.exe is running. It is running. I'm hesitant to say whether it's just taking forever. Like, it seems like it's thinking. Again, this is my first time dealing with Sliver. I'm not really sure. There it goes. It's just insanely slow. But we did get the call back. Good. There we go. We figured out all the... we did it. So you see we get a new callback. So we did figure all that out. Again, I'm quite sure that Sliver has... Like if Empire has it, I'm sure Sliver has it. Sliver has a way to set up listeners on other hosts. I'm quite sure that all of this is possible through Sliver. We're just it's just I feel like it was better just to do it manually. Does that all make sense? Does it make sense what we did here? Are they about the same speed? Oh God, no. God, no. I would never expect it to take that long. Unless I was using some kind of asynchronous beacon. As in, a lot of times, if I'm executing, I don't want to tell you my secrets, but if I'm getting code execution through a word macro, I usually won't execute anything. Like, I won't, execute a binary. Instead, I'll just drop a binary where I know it's going to execute later. It'll execute at some arbitrary time in the future, whenever the user does perform some action. This makes it a little bit easier to get it past antivirus. It's a lot easier to get stuff past antivirus if you're just copying a file somewhere than it is to actually execute something. So if I was using some kind of an asynchronous code execution thing like that, then yeah, it would expect it to take a while, but not this long on like a normal. Okay, can I do like a sessions thing to list sessions? There we go. How do I interact? Did we lose our session already? Did it disconnect on us? What? Okay. Fellas. You won't believe what happened. Never before happened on the stream. The time ran out. Never before happened on this stream. The time on the box ran out.
What are you doing, step bro?
Listen, stop. Stop it. We figured it all out once. We can figure it all out again. Chill. Don't. What are you doing, step-broing me? It wouldn't be.
What are you doing,
Listen.
step-bro?
It would not be an Al-Hazred stream if we remembered to continue to extend the box. Okay, listen. This is a fixture of my stream. This is my brand at this point. My brand is forgetting to extend the TryHackMe box time. Okay. All right, we're waiting for the box to restart again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot. Like, again, we don't have a problem here. I just, after a certain amount of time, TryHackMe, you get an hour and 30 minutes, and you have to hit extend when the time is less than an hour if you want it to continue. You don't have to do this on Hack the Box or Proving Grounds, and I very commonly forget to do it on TryHackMe. So I apologize. We have to wait for the box to start back up again. We'll get back into it just a second. But we did get the connection, so it should be easy enough to get it back again. I thought five people asked to reset. The timing was perfect. The timing was basically ideal. Ori 098N, thank you for the follow. Danny Loves Boas, thank you for the follow. To Bayat, Larzal, thank you for the follow. Chad B. New bringing 740i into the cult. Welcome, my friend. Thank you so much, Chad, for your continued and dedicated support of the stream for a very, very long time. Okay, so we do this again. We have to disable the firewall again. I think it will probably reset, so we're going to have to make all those changes again. Thief of Always, thank you so much for the first time indoctrination into the cult. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the All Has Red team. We're still waiting for the box to restart. It didn't disconnect me from the VPN, did it? Let's just reconnect to the VPN. Okay. Trying to work through my self-induced home lab headaches? Dude, I go through that all the time. I have some of the... This stuff gives me some of the worst headaches I've ever had in my life. Trying to figure this stuff out is hard sometimes. Anyone else want a timeout while I'm handing them out? As if timeouts are best deployed in groups. Come on. It didn't change IP addresses, did it? No. We're connected. Come on. It took a little while to start back up last time, too. Come on, fuck. I swear to God, TryHackMe gives its boxes absolutely no resources. And especially on the Windows machines, it's even more of an irritation. Felix Adder and Piotrique, thank you for the follow. Cthulhu Fountain to you, my friend. Little Dee with the 69 Tiggle Biddies. Nice. Come on. Oh my God. What is taking so long, TryHackMe? This is obnoxious. This is completely obnoxious how long it takes these boxes to spin up. Again, and it's because they don't give their boxes any freaking resources. Oh, okay. We got Thomas Wreath. Why are we still getting no route to host? Why am I still getting no route to host? Host seems down. Maybe this is cached. It could be this is cached. If only they'd stayed with AMD. Is it Windows 10 with 512 gigs of RAM? I genuinely think that is the case. They're so slow. Just look at how long it took the Sliver implant to run. It's crazy. This might be the cache. Let's try and remove the freaking cache here. Clear. 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 Okay, yeah, it's just taking forever. This is obnoxious. Like, we're connected. I can see my IP address down here. We're connected. The IP change? Nope. IP's the same. It has now been 7 minutes since we restarted the box. 7 minutes. And it is still not up. Jeez. Oh, you know what it probably is? This is going through burp, isn't it? Nope, this is off. I was going to say burp is using my SOX proxy, which is currently not operational. But that's not happening in this burp window, or in this Firefox window. That's happening in this one. And it's turned off anyways. This is nutty. Like, marbles time? Yeah, let's do marbles, I guess. I guess we'll do marbles while we're waiting here. I don't know why this is taking so long. This is nutty. Alrighty, let's do marbles. The IP did not change. IP did not change. It is the same IP. Alright. Alright, we begin. Let the eternal gauntlet begin. Bongo Boogie. Let's do it. Alright, exclamation point play in chat if you would like to play marbles. It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. Oh, actually, you know what? Shit. Well, you know what? I guess we'll do it on Thursday. I forgot I had TryHackMe vouchers to give away. I forgot that I had TryHackMe vouchers to give away. But we'll give them away on Thursday. We'll give them away on Thursday so people know about it ahead of time. We'll give them away on Thursday so that people know that a giveaway is happening ahead of time. On Thursday, we're going to be giving away TryHackMe vouchers. I forgot I had them. Okay, if you want to exclamation point play, if you would like to play marbles. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Pure game of skill, indeed. Indeed, a pure game of skill. It begins. The gauntlet, the gladiators once fought in the Colosseum, and now Twitch viewers fight in marbles. It looks like Nightmare is out ahead. Oh, Helen of Tor. Helen of Tor coming in hot. Coming in hot, using her mod powers to great effect. Frosty Dog has a nose of a lead here. As a nose. Oh no, Frosty Dog and Helen. Oh, a little setback there. But Nightmare. That's not Nightmare. It's Nightmare. Nightmare coming in. Coming down the stairs. We're hacking live on, like, it's basically a dead heat. But Superpower. Oh, we're hacking live and Superpower out ahead here. Are they gonna make it? Okay, they do make it. They do make it. Do we lose anyone? I don't think we lose anyone. We're hacking live now with a nice lead. With a nice lead. He's coming in hot. Down the funnel. And he's in. We're hacking live. And Nightmare coming in. Helen of Tor decides to end it all. Helen of Tor is so embarrassed with her failure that she just decides to end it all. F's in the chat for Helen of Tor. Well done. We're hacking live in Nightmare and Dusty Wade. Miroslav, Wookeen Phoenix. Well done. Nice. Oh, wait. I didn't mean to do it again. I didn't mean to do it again. How do I get out? No, we're going to kill it. Yeah, we're going to find out if the SSH is up now. All right, can we get it now? There's got to be something broken here. What's going on? Do I need to re-download my VPN again? It is. It's running. Do I need to re-download the VPN yet again? God, this is nutty. Okay, let me try and re-download the VPN once more. Access. Let's make sure that we're using the correct VPN file. Regenerate. Is it supposed to be HTTPS? It is supposed to be HTTPS, but it will also, if you try to connect with it on HTTP, it'll just redirect you to HTTPS. Okay, let's download the config file again. Let's cut. Let's delete the old VPN file. Let's paste this one in. There we go. Okay. We connect. It is the correct VPN file this time. Is it going to connect now? Is the whole thing just broken? It's been 10 minutes. I don't think I'm making any connectivity issues. I'm making any layer 8 issues here this time. I don't think I have any layer 8 issues here this time. I think it's just taking forever. I don't know, guys. Damn, we just got that sliver, and then it immediately... We got that sliver implant to call back, and then it immediately died on us because I forgot to extend the stupid box time. And now the freaking network is just won't come back up. Ugh. I mean, maybe we do another marbles thing while we wait. Does it normally take this long? Wait. It does change to HTTPS. I feel like that's supposed to happen. This is freaking crazy how long this takes. I don't want to call it a day. I want to do Sliver. I was excited about using it. I will do one more marbles, I guess. I don't know why this is taking so long. This is taking forever. I don't know what, like, this is now, like, we're coming on 15 minutes that this thing is taking to spin up. This is unacceptable. Yeah, it's 15 minutes. It's a full 15 minutes. The Marble Mill. The gauntlet begins once again. Oh, I like the aesthetic of this one. Cell shaded. All right, exclamation point play in the chat if you'd like to play marbles.
A hunter
while we
must hunt.
wait to see
Good show.
if our while we wait to see if TryHackMe is ever going to work again today. Jeez. I mean, I don't know what to say, fellas. I feel like I'm using the correct VPN this time. It started. It's running. Network uptime, 15 minutes. I re-downloaded the VPN again just to be safe. I don't know. .200.57.150. 10.200.57.200 is the... No, that's the host we're trying to reach is 10.200 is the .200. TryHackMe had a network trouble. We didn't have any problems with the network before that were caused by TryHackMe. They were all caused by me. All right. Captain Wilhelm with the 2-month re-indoctrination. Welcome back. Punky Bruise String and Maminx. Thank you for the follows. All right. Let's start. It begins again. The combat begins once more. There's nothing more exciting than that man versus man. Knockdown, drag out. Oh, here it comes. Oh, what? Who is ahead? This one is hard to... Oh, they're going down. They're going down the stairs. And now they're somehow defying gravity and coming back up again. Punky Bruise String appears to be out in front. But no! He can't seem to break free. Oh, he does. He does. He figures it out. Okay, we're coming down. And Frosty Dog comes out in the lead, but is quickly passed by Fantasy Suhal. Captain Wilhelm taking the lead. He's coming down. He seems to have picked the good one, or the good path. Fantasy Suhal. F's in chat for Fantasy Suhal. Captain Wilhelm, though, continuing along. Breaking free of the air jets. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. We had some people shortcut. They took the road less traveled, and it has made all the difference. Wusa is actually backtracking now. He flew too close to the sun. Wusa took the risk and bounced all the way over here, but now... Oh, there he goes. Now he's going backwards again. Here we go. Wusa, way out ahead. His gamble paid off. Wusa, always well known. He goes in. It's all in with Wusa, okay? Nefarious. Nefarious also coming in hot. I assume he's out in first. But it's basically a dead heat between Nefarious and Wusa. Now it's Wusa. Ooh, Wusa breaks out of the mill immediately. Goes through this obstacle on the side. Brilliant move by Wusa. And he hits the side on this one as well. Oh no! Oh no! Oh god, it looks like he's gonna make it. He is gonna make it. Wusa. His gamble paid off. Well done. Well done, Wusa. He took the risk, and it paid off. Helen of Tor having a hard time. F's in the chat. F's in the chat for Helen of Tor. She's taken her time. She never was the quickest. Oh, wait, but she beats Thief of Always, at least. There we go. She got there. She got there. Wusa, well done. Okay, come on now. Can we connect now? Oh my god. What? This cannot be right. This is freaking nutty. It's 10.200.57.200. There's got to be something wrong with my VPN or something like that. Like, there has to be something wrong here, right? It's the right VPN file. I'm just double checking on my end. Can we see the TryHackMe room page? Sure. There you go. Network uptime 19 minutes. Network state running. IP address is the same. I hit start. Start has already been hit. Network state is running. The start has already been hit. I'm clicking on it. Nothing is happening. It's already running, which is this extend is only clickable if it's already running. Start attack box. Yeah, good call. I'll try the attack box, I guess. The attack box takes a while to connect to. And we are connected. This is the correct VPN. I don't know what's going on here, fellas. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I don't know what's taking so long here. I guess we can use the attack box and try and troubleshoot. It won't connect to the HTTP either. Does it really? It can't possibly take 21 minutes to spin up. Is it pingable? I don't think so. 10.200.57.200. Nope. Destination host unreachable. I mean, we're able to contact the gateway. The box appears to just not be up. Man, I'd be sad if we had to stop here on that. All that port forwarding, we didn't get to do any I mean, I can't reset it directly. Other people would have to come in here and click reset. There needs to be 4 other people that come in here and click reset. If it's free, it is a free network, yes. I think you have to have a certain streak if you're not subscribed. I think, but I don't know that for sure. There we go. Okay. Let's see if we can ping it. Yep, we cannot ping it there either. I mean, the attack box would be automatically connected to this network, right? Do you want us to reset for you? I mean, I guess. Would the attack box be automatically connected here? I never use the attack box. It appears that the attack box has a... Wait, if config... Is the attack box even connected? Yeah, no, this is... It is connected. It's the bot... it appears that this is just not running. It appears that this is just not running, fellas. Well, now we're at 2 out of 5. I don't like. It appears to be just broken. If we can get enough resets and get it working, then like the attack box can't reach it either. If the attack box can't reach it, I don't think it's my fault. Okay, sounds good. We're just waiting to see if it's going to reset or not. We still have 2 out of 5. It says 2 out of 5 for me right now. It doesn't say resetting for me. It's 5 out of 5 on my screen. Let's just kill this. Okay, well, let's see. I don't know what's going on, fellas. Like, I can't... I'm clicking on start right now. Nothing is happening. It says network state running. Says network uptime 25 minutes. Cached. Yeah, it might be cached. You might be right, I guess. Well, let's see if it resets. God damn it. I hate that I let the thing fall down. Come on. Every time. I swear to God, I can never remember on TryHackMe to continue to extend the box. God damn it. It shows running network uptime 1 minute. It still says 26 minutes for me. There might be multiple instances of the network, I suppose. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if this is going to work today. It was working before, but I don't know what happened. That it no longer is up and running. It still says network uptime 26 minutes for me. Leave the room and then rejoin? Okay, I guess I'll try. Leave. Yeah, my least favorite part of the engagements is where the network goes down after 90 minutes for no reason. Yeah, that's super, super common. Super common that you're on a live network and it just goes down 90 minutes in for no reason. This is in no way your fault. Yeah, I know. Their resources are just real bad. Okay, now it says network uptime 2 minutes. Now it says network uptime 2 minutes, I'm noticing, after I rejoin the room. I'm going to have to re-download the... this is like the 4th or 5th time I've re-downloaded the VPN here. I mean, if they aren't using Kubernetes, hey, yo. I think they just use AWS. I'm pretty sure these are all just AWS instances with no containerization or anything like that. All right. This is the 5th time I've downloaded the VPN file today. The 5th time. Okay. TryHackMe was not to be outdone by my layer 8 issues earlier. There we go. Well, we can connect. Can we ping it now? We still cannot ping it. It might be a different subnet, though. It is a different subnet. 10.200.105.200. There we go. I would love to continue connecting. There we go. We did it. We're in business, boys. Okay, so we're doing port forwarding. Now we need to connect to this. We're gonna need to re-exploit the GitLab again, or the GitLab. We're gonna have to re-exploit that thing again. So we're gonna have to Burp is still listening and is pointing at my socks proxy, which is located at the same thing. So we should just be able to do Python 2. I'm actually gonna need to change the IP address in the exploit. .200.105.200. 105.150 is what is the IP we actually want. We'll save it, close it. Python 2. What is messed up? Oh, there it goes. It's doing the thing. Okay, it did the thing. We did it. Good work, team. Oh, let's just hit number. This one. Send to repeater. Okay. Net user. Al-Hazred Cthulhu 123. Add. Okay. Net local group administrators. Al-Hazred add. Net local group. Remote desktop users. Al-Hazred add. Send. There we go. Alrighty, let's do free RDP again to the correct IP. 105. There we go. We will need to regenerate the Sliver implant, unfortunately. And that's because we need to change the IP, the callback IP. So we'll do that. Okay. Let's go back here. It's RM Super Trip. We don't need that anymore. Okay. No. Not that it matters. PowerShell. I mean, if you wanted evidence of how starved for resources these boxes are, just look how long it takes any of this stuff to run. Like, just starting a PowerShell prompt takes a long-ass time. It's not too bad, but trying to use Cortana's takes a long-ass time. 10.200.105.200 8888. Let's make sure that we can reach the target. Unable to connect. Let's disable the firewall. I recommend only developing a TryHackMe room that uses a lightweight Linux OS. Dude, I know. Like, it's nutty. Like, I feel like it's gotten much worse recently. I feel like they just have throttled the resources on their boxes to such a degree that they're almost unusable. The Windows machines are the worst of them. Unable to connect. 10.200.105.200. Oh, yeah, I forgot I have to change the nano Etsy, SSH, SSHD config. So we'll do Control W for allow TCP. Okay. Yes. System CTL. Service. SSHD restart. Okay, 4 seconds ago. Let's just... I don't know if I need to restart the connection, restart the SSH session again, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Okay. There we go. So we can reach Sliver now. Has Sliver finished generating the new implant? Breaksec with the raid. Welcome, my friend. Thanks so much. Thank you so much for that raid, my dude. All right, let's execute Worthy Kidney here. Actually, let's execute it as administrator. Damn it. Let's kill this. All right, now we just have to wait 20 minutes for TryHackMe to run a single agent. I feel like they should be making decent money. I've heard, like, I don't know if it's true. I'm hearing, like, from somebody who, you know, probably doesn't even know himself, but I'm hearing that TryHackMe has, like, is having, like, money problems or something. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. That is what I've heard, though. What terminal emulator do you use? This is Cool Retro Term. CRT. And it's one of the default themes. We're still waiting. TryHackMe money. I don't know. That's just what I've heard. I don't know if that's true or not. Please don't quote me on that. I don't know. But it would make sense if they're throttling their users this much. Maybe the AWS instances are just too expensive. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. All I know is that this stuff is taking forever to run. I just want to run one as administrator. I just right-clicked on it. I think running it from the local disk would be marginally faster. Oh, I do agree. It's probably the fact that it's so long, it's so large, but it's going to take a while to copy it anyways. Didn't they say they made something over 2 million profit? I don't know. Again, like please don't quote me on this. Please do not quote me on that. I don't know. That's just something I heard. In fact, I shouldn't have even said it because I shouldn't spread rumors. I'm assuming they're a profitable business model. They're a good platform. I'm not trying to say TryHackMe is not a good platform. I'm just saying that again, this isn't the only box we've had this problem on. It feels like every single Windows machine gives us this issue where like they just have no resources whatsoever and it takes forever to run anything. I do agree it would be faster if we copied it to the local disk. Again, keep in mind this is a thick-ass binary. This is a 12 megabyte binary. A nim binary, a comparable nim binary would be like 1/1000th of this size. Go binaries are just fucking huge. I'm writing an article for the Wall Street Journal, and I will be quoting you extensively. Okay, well, please don't do that. Blur me out in the news article or something. Blur my face, okay? Put this guy's face instead, okay? This guy's face. This is the face you want. Preferably with the "Hi, I'm Thomas Wreath" part as well. This is the face, okay? Listen. There you go. That's the face. Quote that. Oh my god, is it still trying? .200.105.200. It's still thinking. It's still running. There it is. There he is. Finally. Like 30 minutes later. I like how his ears don't match. Good job, Al. How is this a good... I didn't make this. I didn't make this. It's not my fault that his ears are fucking weird. And now I'm not ever going to be able to unsee it. I'm not ever going to be able to unsee that now. Read ASCII. I know, the session came in. I see that the session came in. Yeah, he does have a little bit of a lazy eye, I think. All right. Sessions. How do we interact? It is alive. Is there an interact option? How do I interact with my... How do I interact with it? Use? It's the use. Switch the active session. Okay, use and then the ID, I'm assuming. AF. Okay, we did it. All right, now what do we do? Help. We can do who am I? We are git serve Alhazred. Okay, excellent. All right, so we have after all of that, we have functioning C2. Any questions about any of that, my friends? After all of that mess, we have functioning C2. So what do they actually want us to do? Let's just get through this, okay? We have to do the little boxes, okay? They're using Empire. We're not using Empire, okay? But they're going to use Empire. Star Killer is a nice GUI. Unfortunately, it does, in fact, use the shitty Disney Star Wars movies as inspiration. So this is really the only reason you should not use Empire. Like, just call it Death Star, not Star Killer Base. Okay. Can we get an agent back from the Git server directly? Nay. Okay. Death Star was taken. I know there's another tool called Death Star, but I've never used it. It's too dangerous to use it on targets. Okay, so they have... they're showing us how to set up a listener. Great. Okay, listener. Okay, we did all of this. We did all of this today, but we did it with Sliver instead. We generated a stager. They're generating... Empire works predominantly in PowerShell, so the stager is going to be in PowerShell. It looks like it does work in Bash as well. I didn't even know Empire had a Bash or a Python stager. It has a Python stager. So it has us set up a stager on the 2.200. This is so that we can use, so that we can do port forwarding. I'm just not doing that because I thought it was cooler to do it the way that I did it. In Empire, how would we run the who am I command? How would you run who am I in Empire? It's not execute. It's not exec. Is it? Oh, it's shell who am I. That's it. Okay. Okay. Hop listeners. Okay, this is what we did when we were setting up the port forwarding. We were setting up a hop listener. Although we weren't doing it with the Sliver default, the Sliver functionality. I'm quite sure that Sliver can do this. Basically, what a hop listener is you're telling the team server that the agent should call back to a different Sliver agent rather than directly talking to the team server. Cobalt Strike also does this with reverse port forwards and pivot listeners. Git server. Okay, so now we're pivoting to the Git server, which is what we're on right now. And let's play around with the modules a little bit. It's going to have us use Sherlock, I guess. How did we privesk on this to begin with? We didn't even need to privesk. Oh, let's see if we have modules in Sliver. Let's take our time and look through Sliver a little bit. Do we have modules here? Execute a program on the remote system. Is this execute assembly? Is this the equivalent of execute assembly? We have armory. How do we use it though? How do we if we were going to run like a .NET, if we were going to run okay, so it's armory, but how do I use that? We see how to automatically download and install extensions. Okay, can I execute that in here? Okay. Execute assembly is its own thing. Okay. Well, I just want to demonstrate how to do this with something. Ooh, nano dump is interesting. I know what that does. Nano dump does let's do nano dump because I might use that on a real. How would I use nano dump? What language is Sliver? I believe the agents are in Go. But I don't know if the. Okay, how do we? Ooh, beacon object file roast. Armory install Windows credentials. Okay. So I'm just trying to learn how to run modules. Like if I run nano dump. Help armory. Update. So how do I execute? How do I now execute the nano dump extension? Now in the contents of your agent nano dump? Like that? Oh, nano dump and it needs a process ID. So can we do PS? Okay, perfect. What do you think we want to nano dump, kids? So what nano dump is going to do is it's going to make a dump of a given process. It's going to dump the memory of a process. Yeah, we want to do a little LSAS. Okay? Well, just want to get in there just want to get some LSAS. Okay? We want the LSAS process because that's where the credentials are. That's where the credentials of logged in users are. Now, we know that there are no credentials in here. I'm only demonstrating it. This is only a demonstration of how to use modules in Sliver. Oh, wow. So it actually has... that's cool. I like that if the output's really long. It looks like Windows Defender... And it actually highlights that Windows Defender might be running. Windows Defender is not running, incidentally, but... So nano dump, we provide nano dump. And then the process ID. And then the dump name, which is going to be... lsas.dump, I suppose. And then Write file? Can I do like help nano dump? Oh, perfect. Okay, PID, dump name, write file, and then signature. Signature used for evasion. Okay, just, I don't think we need to evade at all. So, lsas.dump. And then the write file is going to be C users alhazred desktop. Invalid int value. Oh. Oh, it wants an integer. It doesn't want a path. It wants an integer. Write file or zero. What does file list do? Okay, signature. PMDM, I guess. Is it going to download it for me? Oh, it just downloads it for me. But it doesn't save it to anything. It just downloaded it for me. Could I have like outputted this to a file? This is just the memory dump. Could I have done like this? Okay, I guess that doesn't work. Change it to 1. I'm trying to I know what it's doing here. This is the actual dump. I guess I'm just trying to figure out if there was a way to output it to a file, but it's fine. We'll do it this way. Is it actually going to save that dump on my local machine? So dump again, nano dump is making a memory dump of the LSAS process. Where's your cat? I don't know. She is a high-powered attorney and a high-fashion model. I believe she's probably on with the coast. She's on the phone with Armani right now. Okay, so we're waiting for nano. The LSAS process is very big, so it might take a little while. Again, we don't need to do this. I'm only demonstrating it because it's an example of something I do on a real assessment, and it's an example of how we're exploring how Sliver works. I've never used Sliver before. This is my first time, so I am experimenting with it. What's the difference between 0 and 1? 0 just outputs it to the memory dump to the console, it looks like. And 1 is writing it to a file. We are waiting. I don't know what the result of this is. We're trying to figure it out. Again, the box is probably just very, very slow, and the LSAS process is large. Marv KKS and R2D4 2000. Thank you for the follows. Cthulhu fought into the both of you. Can you be considered a hacker if you don't have a cat? Yes, but you'll never be as good as the hackers that do have a cat. All right, we're waiting here. Motherfucking Yoshimitsu, I do empathize with you. Yes. You are objectively a better person with more cats than somebody else. That is true. Does it... I honestly don't know if it's supposed to take this long or if something is some... My guess is it's just the box taking forever again. Nano dump, a crappy LSAS dumper. I don't know. I've used it before. It's fine to me. So this is supposed to be a beacon object file in Cobalt Strike, but I guess you can... I guess they've adapted it. I guess the Sliver people have adapted it to work with Sliver. So the idea is that you use Nano Dump to make a dump of the LSAS process. You download it to your local machine, and then you use PyPyCats to dump it. Or you can use Mimikatz on your local machine as well. This is cool. Create a clone of the so instead of opening up the process with process VM read, which is a Windows API call, you can use TAC fork to clone the LSAS process, and then request access to that process. That's interesting. It does not read LSAS directly that way. That's pretty cool. Is there a Sherlock module in Sliver? I don't know. Let's find out. Maybe we should look for that instead of this mess, because this is taking forever. I expect it is running. I think the LSAS process is just very, very large. And keep in mind that we are proxying through another box here. The LFAS. The LFAS. Oh my god. Everything takes so long. Extend the time? I don't think it's gonna... Man, I hope it doesn't take so long that we need to extend the time again. But I did extend it just in case. I wish I could do other things. We're in a session here and not a beacon. So it is locking us up while we try and while we wait for this to execute. But if you look at the memory of the LSAS process, actually not that much. Can we do another marbles? Yeah, I guess we'll do another marbles. Like, I guess I shouldn't have done nano dump because I didn't think it was going to take this long. I don't even know. I've never used it, so I don't know if it's taking this long, if it's supposed to take this long or not. All right, random track. Exclamation point play. Oh my goodness. What is happening here? Exclamation point play if you would want to jump into the Thunderdome. This is very, very serious. Ancient Roman gladiators fought in the Colosseum. And this is exactly like that. The same things are on the line. We're fighting for glory. We're fighting for glory. And the blood of our enemies. Exclamation point play if you would like to jump into the Thunderdome. We're still waiting. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Get it started. Alrighty, we're off. Chad B. Noob got the short straw, or got the long straw with starting out first, but he's immediately fallen behind. All right, they're in the big funnel. Let's see who... Round and around they go. Let's see who gets out of this first. Thief of Always and 740i appear to be out ahead significantly. But will they make it through this crazy contraption? Who will be the first? Thief of Always looks like he is coming in. Oh, but he misses it. Miroslav. Miroslav. Cool under pressure Miroslav coming in to take the lead and fired out of the cannon. He makes it in. He makes it into this contraption. Way out ahead with the OP bro in a poor second place. Agent OP. He went for the gamble. Agent OP goes for the gamble. It does not pay off. F's in the chat for Agent OP and Maticus. F's in the chat. Shin Ryzen and Miroslav now basically tied. Shin Ryzen taking on that obstacle perfectly. Oh, Miroslav right on his heels, though. This is the final obstacle. Will Shin... Oh, Shin Ryzen! He fumbles the ball at the 1 yard line. Shin Ryzen. And Miroslav comes out ahead. Well done, Miroslav. Shin Ryzen and OP Bro coming in. Well done. All right. Helen of Tor, once again, cannot cope with her failure and flings herself to her death. Once again. Carlos Artman. Oh my goodness. Making it interesting on us. Carlos Artman taking his time. But he does make it in the end. Well done, my friends. Is Nano Dump ever gonna finish? Jesus Christ. I regret my life choices. Oh my God. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to end it here. I don't know how long this is gonna take, fellas. I don't know how long this is gonna take. We'll do a little AMA. We'll do a little AMA. What questions do you guys have about any of the stuff we covered today, or really anything in general? What questions do you guys have? I don't know how long this nano dump is going to take to run. I shouldn't have run nano dump, I guess. I don't know if something's wrong with it or what. No idea. Don't have a clue. Did you like John Hand's limit video about your NS lookup trick? Yeah, I did. He does use my trick just to execute IEX, just to use IEX in the stager, which is a little bit silly. There are ways to avoid that too, but I can understand he just wanted to keep it simple for the stream. Do we really have to end it here? I mean, I guess. I feel like we didn't get anywhere. But that's okay. We experimented with Sliver. We talked a lot about C2 and red team operations. OP Black, thank you for the follow. We'll be continuing Wreath next Newbie Tuesday. We will be on Thursday. We'll be doing something else. I'm gonna do something harder. It's Cthulhu Thursday, and on Thursday we will be giving away a TryHackMe vouchers. I have TryHackMe vouchers to give away. Will you do Carlos Art nice stream? Hey, thank you, man. Will you do a costume stream for Halloween? Yeah, sure. Star dresses up as me. What? I just put her in a hoodie or something? Give Star? She's probably napping. You want me to wake her up? Do you want me to wake up wake up Star? All right, hang on. Ask your questions. Let me see if I can find Star. Sweet Pea. She is irate. This is her irate face. Because I had to wake her up for this. She was sleeping. Chat demanded this. Don't blame me. Look at these little peeps. Look at her little peeps. Okay. Apple bottom jeans, Indian boots, Weeky foo, the whole chubby dookie. Still doing Saturday hacking? Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. I'm going to try to be there this Saturday. I think I should be able to make it this Saturday. We'll see. How much did the haircut cost? I don't know. Like I got it like a couple, I don't know, 40 bucks. I don't know. How much does that, I have no idea how much I paid for it. I think it was about 30 or 40 bucks. But it was a couple of weeks ago. Indeed, 7th Chosen. Ia Cthulhu Faten. Have you ever exploited LXC group privilege to mount the root file system in a container in the real world? Not LXC, but Docker, yes. Docker, yes. I have exploited that with Docker. DX Twigs, thank you for the follow. All right, it looks like we're gonna be raiding hate handles. He's one sub away from his sub goal. When will you upload new content on YouTube? I have to decide what I want to do for my next YouTube video first. If you have ideas for what you want to see in a YouTube video, let me know. Because I don't know what I want to do. Maybe I'll just start the offensive Python. I think offensive Python sounds about right. Python stuff, please. Indeed. Yeah, I'll do a little. Maybe we'll do a little bit of Python. More AV bypass. There's plenty. There's already 2 videos on AV bypass on my Patreon. Cloud C2 setup. Ooh, that's a good one. I could do Cloud C2 setup. I could certainly do that. Like it's honestly very. It depends on. There's easy ways to do it and there's harder ways to do it. You know, like the easiest cloud-based redirector is simply like a SOCAT one-liner or something that just redirects any connections back to your team server. But that's not actually the best way to do it. The best way to do it would be to have a separate web server running, and then the web server redirects certain connections based on certain parameters back to your listener. That's way better for various reasons. It does sound like a sweet video. All right. Well, bring hate handles the glad tidings of Dread Cthulhu. I'll see you guys again on Thursday. We'll do something. We're going to do something on TryHackMe, but something hard. We're giving away TryHackMe vouchers that day, so come ready for giveaways and marbles. Come ready to fight in the Marbles Thunderdome. Go to bed tonight knowing a little bit more than you did yesterday. See you guys again when the stars are right. Stay safe. Love you all.